This is the NerdCorp podcast. I am your host for the evening. As always, I'm Alex Swisher, and I'm joined by my ever stubborn co-host, Chad Porto.
Rude.
It's the truth, though.
Fuck Jim Hellwig.
Hey,
I will not be this my husband's memory. Your husband was a bigot who wished cancer on a man who already had cancer. Fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming out of the gate hot, apparently.
Literally, as you were doing the intro, I pulled up PW Insider, and I saw Dana Warrior comments on Ultimate Warrior's controversial statements. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it's...
Now I'm in a bad mood.
Didn't he say that the world would be better off if there were no gay people?
Yup. He said that the world would be better off if there was no gay people, that gay people should keep trying to make other gay people because it's not going to work because, you know, obviously. Which is kind of a line used in Milk. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Sean Penn, who's kind of a douche in his own right, his character said, his character was told, you know, gay people, you know, they have sex, but they can't make babies. And Sean Penn's character, who plays an openly gay, I think he's like a senator or like a state senator candidate, and he goes, well, it may not happen, but it's not going to keep us from trying. And I'm like, that's a great fucking comeback.
It's really good.
I love that comeback.
Yep.
We're out of the gates already, just right in the face.
Yeah, I mean, so before we get into anything like crazy, we'll just...
Too heavy.
Too heavy. So we're doing this, obviously it's Saturday night instead of our normal Friday night because we both actually had social plans, surprisingly.
Not so much for you, but for me it was super fucking surprising.
Yeah. Well, I kind of knew about this in advance, but so basically everybody is out of the house for me. So like I'm literally the only one home. It's me and my cat. That's it. So last night I was talking to my girlfriend, who is my girlfriend as of last night.
Ooh, official label.
Yeah, we've put the stamp on it officially. She was like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just hanging out at the house. I got a house sit for, you know, the family." And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm leaving for Bowling Green tomorrow to go to a party. Do you want me to come over and hang out?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, it'd be great." So we just watched. What did we do? I ordered. No, I didn't order. I ordered food tonight. I made stir fry last night, homemade stir fry, and we had some drinks and watched Four Brothers, which is my favorite movie. And then we also watched Hitch, which is a classic.
Is not bad. It's not like super great, but it's like the last of the great mediocre movies, you know? Like, remember how like in the 90s we always had these every week, and they were always just so much fun to watch, but they were never tent poles and no one really cared, but we saw them like, oh my god, it was actually really good.
Yep.
Hitch was the last one, man. I can't think of another middling movie that has come out since Hitch that wasn't some tent pole. Then I was like, or an Oscar flick that I was like, oh god, that was so good.
Yeah. Hitch is actually in the top 10 highest grossing romantic comedy movies of all time.
I'm not surprised.
It
was Will Smith at his apex.
I mean, Kevin James was really good in it too. So.
Plus, it had that one dude from Burn Notice, the main character.
Oh yeah, he was in it, and then what's the guy? Michael Rappaport's in it, like briefly.
Oh yeah, he's kind of a douche.
Yeah, I know, like I recognized him immediately, and then I was like, where do I know him from? Like I'd seen him in some. I had seen him in something recently. I think it was Atypical.
I didn't see that one.
That Netflix series. But yeah, he's in it. You got Will Smith. You got the main character from Burn Notice. Yeah, it's a decent movie. So that's how I spent my Friday night.
I spent mine playing board games at a Halloween party because I'm super fucking cool.
Which board games?
Well, first we started off with 1313 Dead End Arrive because obviously. Mm-hmm. And that game should only take about 40 minutes at best, maybe a half an hour. But we had this one player who kept like, I need to overanalyze every move. I'm like, no, you don't. It is not that complicated.
Right.
So, it took a lot longer than it should have. I ended up tying, and that pissed me off. Played some Mario Kart, ate some pizza, ate some more pizza, ate some more junk. That's still kind of, what I ate so much junk. And then when the party was winding down, it was time to bust out Cards Against Humanity. And the humanity.
Yep. Know how that goes.
It was a good time. People were weird. I liked it. When we started playing Cards Against Humanity, like the party started to clear out. I think it's because we were being way too vulgar.
I get that.
Like, we upped the ante.
Yeah, I owned that game and like pretty much all the expansions to it, and it gets bad.
Oh yeah.
Especially amongst my friends who are already like, I don't know how to, like, out there in terms of personality and the jokes that they make, but when you give them like cannon fodder, basically, they just go nuts.
That's always fun.
And I remember doing this thing for Cards Against Humanity for Christmas like 2 years ago, and they sent me a custom card that says, "Here lies Alex Swisher, 1995 to 2015, I think it is. Beloved, like, friend, son, and blank, or lover of blank." And then that one just. And then they sent me a card that just says Alex Swisher on it.
That's not creepy.
Yeah, so I've had both those cards played on me as the cards are, where like it's like, "Here lies Alex Swisher, blah blah blah, lover of Alex Swisher," and I was like, well, I mean, you're not wrong.
By the way, the audio's it's good enough.
Okay.
It might be a little bit louder, but it's not so much that it's going to be completely unhearable or just aggravating. Because I've had those days where it's like, I'm up here and you're down here.
Yeah.
God damn it! Why do we suck at audio adjustment?
We're the worst at anything, honestly.
We really are. We should have been called a WorstCorp.
Oh, good. That's a good one.
So, any plans for Halloween? Because it is coming up this Tuesday.
Yeah, watch SmackDown.
Sweet. So you're gonna spend it watching a below-average wrestling show.
Better than Raw.
I said below average. I didn't say shitter.
The best part of Raw last week was when the SmackDown roster showed up.
I mean, right?
The only way they could have had a better moment for anybody on the actual Raw roster if Braun was there, and Braun got killed off.
Right?
Oh man.
Just got swallowed whole by a fucking dump truck.
I'm baffled. Kane beat Finn Balor clean in the middle of the ring.
That's insane. I still can't believe that.
A semi-retired first ballot Hall of Famer who is literally being built up to be jobbed out to Braun Strowman beat a future Universal Champion, guaranteed. Again, he's going to be a main eventer.
Correction, future IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Oh yeah, when he eventually quits and goes back to New Japan.
Everyone else is.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's get into some of this before things get too out of hand. So, I don't know if you're watching Bound for Glory next Sunday.
I didn't even know it was next Sunday.
Well, you might want to, because one Sami Callahan has been confirmed to have signed. He's going to be debuting alongside his former, what were they? OI4K brothers?
Yeah, Ohio's for Killers.
Under the OVE banner, so it's going to be OVE versus LAX, so expect Homicide to be there as well. And it's going to be just a fucking brawl. Oh my god. I mean,
that's a grammatically incorrect sentence, but okay. OVE versus LAX? Ohio versus everyone versus LAX? It's a triple threat. It's a triple threat. It's LAX versus everyone versus Ohio.
Well, I mean, Josh Matthews and Jeremy Borash will be calling the action, and they're both technically wrestlers. Or at least have competed.
Oh, I want that as a moment where they just stop fighting each other and they go, and like LAX picks up a microphone and Conan's like, "Aren't you guys versus everyone?" And then LAX and OVE turn and look at the announcers, and they're just like, they nod to each other, and then they just beat the shit out of the announcers and then go back to fighting each other.
Jeremy Borash jumps and Josh is like, what? And then he gets dogpiled by 6 dudes.
Oh man, that would be great.
So, Diamante hurt her knee, so I don't know if she's going to be involved. Conan will be there, but of course, he has a bad hip, or a replaced hip, and a bad not bad kidney, but not a new kidney, but a replaced kidney, so he can't take any bumps.
Mm-hmm.
So he won't be involved. But Homicide's expected to come back because he's been working a lot of the Mexican shows with the angles and shit.
Right.
So even though it's a tag match, he's expected to be in the corner alongside Conan, and Sami Callihan's expected to be there as well. So even though it's a 2-on-2 match, it's expected to be just a fucking brawl.
Cool.
So that's a big thing. Apparently, El Patron might be added to the main event in either a triple threat form or as a guest referee. Now, the only saving grace from all of this is the way Eli Drake was talking on Impact this past week made people think he was talking to El Patron.
Uh-huh.
So if he was talking to El Patron, more than likely, El Patron would go heel on Mundo, or I'm sorry, Impact, Johnny Impact.
Yeah.
Morrison. And again, pick a name, goddammit! And that'll mean that Eli will retain, which is good. And then we could actually get a rematch of El Patron's only ever good feud in his entire American run, or United States run, which is against Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground.
Right.
And if they go that route, yeah, best for everyone.
Like, so my only reservation is just that
It's El Patron.
Yeah, it's El Patron. He is a piece of shit human being.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
not even debating that.
Like, not to say I wish harm on the guy, but I wish him absolutely no success.
I hope his life is mediocre to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope his children don't succeed past a college basic level.
Yeah.
They get like $50,000 a year jobs, and that's it. Benefits not even included. That's what I wish upon that family.
I hope the night Bevis family stabs him in an alley, but he lives.
Well, the Bevis families aren't even better. I hope they all get stabbed. Both those families should just stab each other.
Yeah.
In the thighs.
Yeah.
with like giant sporks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just repeatedly. Here's the other big news, though.
Okay.
This is like huge. This is fucking huge. Your jaw's gonna drop.
Okay, I'm prepared.
It was reported. I have since confirmed. It was reported there were talks. I can confirm there are very serious talks of Impact signing on kind of like what they used to have with like the open contracts with talent, where they'd come in, work the TVs and pay-per-views, but then work everywhere else.
Uh-huh.
Very serious talks of Ricochet coming in.
Ooh.
Apparently, this is what I've been hearing through the ether. Ricochet is petrified to go to the WWE.
I would be too.
Not because he feels he can't make it, but because he's just seen a lot of his best friends and guys he respects and admire fail or quit.
Yep.
And these are guys who are better character wrestlers than I am. What the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I think he's now looking at WWE as like, nope, everyone else is making more money outside of it. Why would I go there? Cody, the Bucks, Callahan, Austin Aries, they're all making more money outside of the WWE than they would in the WWE. Now, that's not to say that guys like Roman Reigns would be making as much money outside the WWE as he would inside. Not picking on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is one of the top 5 guys. That's why I'm including him.
Stabbed if he were to leave and go to Indies, like where anything goes, and like he's wrestling in like are we talking like he's only gonna do like Rev Pro and PWG and Ring of Honor and stuff like that, or are we talking like Colt Cabana, like middle of Wyoming, like Indies in a gym or a Legion Hall?
I don't think it matters like which ones. What I'm saying is like anyone like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, John Cena, if they were to go to the Indies, they would make less money than they are in the main roster, is my point. Because they're making $7-8 million a year after merch.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
you're not going to make that money on the Indies, no matter how good you are. At best,
no.
The Bucks are pulling in just under $1 million a year. At best. But that's still a big number.
Yeah,
you can make a great nut off that.
Nick Jackson tweeted today stating that he was going to be at the ROH show tonight, but Matt wasn't going to be there because he requested it off for his daughter's birthday, because Matt Jackson has missed his daughter's birthday the last 5 years in a row. Oof. And if that doesn't show you how fucking dedicated the Bucks are to trying to be the best professional wrestlers in the world, the best tag team in the world, then I have huge amounts of respect for those two.
I do too. I'm not a big fan of them because they always seem to wrestle the same style.
That's
like
fine.
The same match always seems to be like what they do. But I would be hypocritical in saying that I was not a fan, or I have not appreciated some of their matches because I have.
Yeah.
Their second Hardy Boys match, I think it was really good.
The Ladder Wars.
No, because they had one in Carolina, or they had one in House of Hardcore, and then they had one in Carolina.
Okay.
For Omega. Flip them, I don't know, but one of them was really fucking good, and the other one was alright. Anyway, it wasn't bad. But the match that I'm always most fond of theirs is, and this is like the first time they've ever done something like this, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And it didn't hurt who they were working with, was a empty arena match in TNA with the machine guns.
Oh, yeah, with the guns.
Oh, that was such a good match. And it wasn't even on Impact. It was on that fucking stupid Reaction or whatever the fuck it was called.
Oh, yeah.
And no one watched it. And I was like, you guys need to watch this match. It's so good.
I think they remember. I remember them talking about that on the Kevin Steen show on the High Spots Network. They were like, yeah, we tore the house down basically with an empty arena match with the guns, and nobody saw it. And then TNA fired us.
Make a TNA house show joke here. But
yeah.
I'm a TNA fan. I can make those jokes. You guys can't. You suck. Apparently, they're sold out for Bound for Glory. I mean, it's only like 1,000 seats that they opened up, but that's a start, man. That's 1,000 seats they weren't going to sell in Orlando.
It's good though because we want Impact on an upswing. Ring of Honor is starting to hit an upswing, rightfully so.
Ring of Honor doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, what was it in the latest Being the Elite? Cody said that for the Global Wars tour, that every night for the tour, the gates pulled in at least $100,000.
Okay, all right. I thought he was going to say it was sold out. I'm like, dude, they've been sold out the last 4 years. It's not that impressive. But that is impressive. Because what's that, 4 nights, 5 nights?
Something like that, yeah.
When you can do a 500,000 weekend venue, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know? That's fucking good. Now, I want to know what the cost difference is between, say, a regular weekend and that, because you go from running your standard, your top 3 talents paid are probably Cody and the Bucks. Yeah. And then you can probably, like, say Lethal.
Well, you got to think about what New Japan talent they bring in.
Well, that's kind of what I'm alluding to. Like, you look at the top kind of guys in Ring of Honor and what they're getting paid. 100,000 seat, $100,000 dollar door. That's good payday. You're gonna have a lot of profit. But then you look at who they bring in for New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're basically doubling your top talent pay.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much they actually walked away with at the end of the weekend.
I don't think they had anybody like crazy. I think they had Kenny. They had
Kenny's pretty expensive. Suzuki.
Suzuki. Yeah, I'm sure.
Wasn't that this week? Wasn't that the past one?
That was Chicago.
They do 2 rounds a year, if I remember correctly. He was this past the second.
Suzuki. They had Killer Elite Squad, which not too expensive. Yeah, but yeah,
I
just want to say this: David Hart Smith, Davies Boy Smith Jr.
Bulldog Jr. He has like 9,000 names.
Looks just like his dad. Now that he's wrestling in the jeans and the boots, like Bulldog did towards the end. Holy shit, they look so alike.
So, do you want to give me a roundabout time when you think Davey Boy Smith debuted?
Junior or Davey Boy Smith Senior?
Junior.
In his early teens, had to have been, if not sooner than that.
He was 11.
Yeah.
Do you know how old he is right now?
Nearing 30?
32.
32.
That is it. He's been wrestling since... He's literally a year older than me, and he's been wrestling since I was fucking in elementary school.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He's good.
So, and he was offered a contract at 20.
Yeah.
No. Was it 20? Yeah, 20. Or 19. Yeah.
Probably something close to that. But I love him and Lance as a tag team.
Oh, dude, they're so good.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, they're both the same person in my mind. And let me explain what I mean by that. Lance Hoyt should have been huge in TNA.
Oh,
he
for
was
sure.
6 foot. 6'9". He did the coast to coast. He was athletic. He was nimble. He had good charisma. Not great charisma, but you could work with it. And the Rock and Rave, while it was goofy, was fun.
Yeah.
Him and Jimmy Rave coming out with Guitar Hero guitars. Like, that's great. That's awesome. But they just kind of let him go for some reason. He was a Jeff Jarrett guy, so when Jeff Jarrett lost power, it was, conceivable he was next to go. And then Davey Boy Smith, literally the same kind of guy, minus the success in terms of gimmick. And I think they both had, Davey had one run as tag team champion with Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
And I think Lance Archer had 2 with Kid Cash.
I think so, something like that.
So, like, give or take. So they're like the same guy in both the respective promotions. Found a niche together early in their New Japan run. And then bada bing. What are they, 4-time IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions?
Let's see here. So it says he's a 2-time NWA World Tag Team Champion with David Hart Smith.
Well, he should. Yeah. Lance Archer should be a 4-time. 2 with Lance Archer, 2 with Kid Cash.
Yeah.
Or 1 with Kid Cash.
2 with Kid Cash, and then
2 with Lance.
2 with Davey Boy.
So they also have 3 IWGP title reigns, and I think they also have 2 Noah.
GHC.
Fuck are those belts called? Thank you, GHC tag titles.
Yep.
I think 2. So that's 2, 5, 7. Davey has 8, counting his WWE. 8, 9, counting his WWE, because he has 2 title reigns in WWE. So that means they both have 9 major tag team title reigns together.
Yeah.
Not together, but 9 tag team title reigns, and 7 of them are together.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's just insane. Quietly one of the best tag teams of all time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they rightfully should be considered as one of the top tag teams, because, think about, I don't know, it's probably happened and I just haven't been watching. I'm real behind on catching up with New Japan, but anything War Machine I'm automatically in on, because for a guy his size, Hansen moves like a freight train.
Mm-hmm.
And I automatically support Ray Rowe because he's from Cleveland.
Yup, he's an Ohio boy.
And he is good.
Yeah, he is.
Especially after surviving his motorcycle accident.
Yeah. Didn't he get like a rod put into his leg or some shit like that?
Yeah, I think so. He got real messed up. Like, it was right before he got offered a contract with Ring of Honor.
I thought it was after, because I thought they were already tag teaming.
No, it was like right before he was about to start with Ring of Honor, like his first time coming in. Like, he said what was it? He said that he didn't have much wrestling under his belt, and he got noticed by Ring of Honor. I remember he talked about this on Colt's podcast on Art of Wrestling. He said that he didn't have he had indies under his belt, and then Ring of Honor was interested in him, and they said, we're gonna give you a tryout. So he does the tryout, and they're like, okay, well, I think we're gonna sign you to something and do something with you.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He was driving his motorcycle, he was right after he had called his dad and told him that he was getting a contract. He got T-boned or something like that in an intersection.
Oof.
And he just completely got destroyed. I don't think they have much of his personal stuff on Wikipedia or anything like that, but I know he's definitely talked about it, and it's all out there if anybody wants to look it up.
It says right here, in August, Rowe was seriously injured in a motorcycle accident of 2014 that kept him out for several months. He came back in 2015 for the anniversary show. Okay, so we're both right, because he had been teaming with Hansen at this point already. Okay. But I guess it was as an open contract, because it was right after he got done doing the top prospect tournament.
Right.
So then I guess he got offered his first contract and then got hurt. Actually, this is today news. I wouldn't have known if I didn't go to his wiki page. Apparently, he just got engaged today. To Crazy Mary Dobson.
Yeah. Lucky
bastard.
Right. I mean,
anyone who can wear those little thin strip bikinis. Yeah. You did good. You did good, kid.
Talk about Ray Rowe?
Yeah, he did good.
No, I was saying Ray Rowe wears the thin.
Oh. You know, he could probably pull it off.
I wouldn't tell him that he couldn't. You see that man? I would not say anything to him.
I've been hearing so much about him for years.
I've only heard that he looks like what was the joke that Carino used to make on ROH commentary, that he had prison tattoos because he's been in prison. I've only heard from people that he is the nicest person on the planet. Mm-hmm. Like, he's such a sweetheart.
He's got these giant tattoos, and if you don't know what they look like, you may think they're like Nazi kind of tattoos because they're very hardcore.
Yeah.
But they're all straight edge.
Yep.
And I think that's cool. When I was, when I got to interview the late JT Lightning, he spoke so highly of Ray Rowe.
Yeah.
He talked about how good he is and how much he understands the business at being such a young age. This was 7 years ago, so he would have been 26. Mm-hmm. And all I heard was Josh Prohibition, Johnny Gargano, and Ray Rowe. And that was it. Like, if you were coming out of Cleveland, those were the three names you knew.
Oh, yeah. Everybody should know Josh Prohibition and... Well,
obviously Gargano now,
but I was going to say Matt Cross, M-Dog, and Prohibition.
Yeah, but Matt Cross actually cut his teeth more in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Prohibition and I would say Cross opened up the door for like a lot of Cleveland guys.
Oh yeah, no, those were they weren't the godfathers, if you will, of Cleveland wrestling, but they were the next class after that.
Oh yeah,
they're the ones that really kind of like launched it.
Well, they had that whole backyard wrestling situation, and like got super popular off of that. And
dude, Matt Cross slept off the balcony at my high school.
Matt Cross, man, he is doing insane things these days. Like,
honestly, when you look at the crowd from Ohio, it's just, how can you not be in love with it?
Oh, I love
even if we count Northern Kentucky, which is Cincinnati for that.
Yeah.
You got OVE, you got Sami Callihan, Dean Ambrose. He might be at the bottom of the barrel right now, but still, the bottom of the barrel for Ohio is pretty fucking talented. Everyone else.
Yeah.
Gargano, who's largely considered one of the top 5 best technicians at the moment.
Dino hates
Ray
him.
Rowe. What's that?
Dino hates Gargano.
Oh yeah, he does, and he has a good reason to. Like, I get it.
What's his? He explained it, but I think I forgot what his reasoning was.
So I'm going to try to paraphrase it the best I can. If I get it wrong, go to Dino Winwood on Twitter and yell at him.
Yeah.
And you can find Dino Winwood at WWE Baron Corbin. So Dino told me that one of his buddies was dating, what's that little blonde number that hangs with Joey Ryan?
Candice LeRae?
Yeah, it was dating Candice LeRae. Mm-hmm. And Dino's buddy was dating Candice LeRae, and one night she just kind of up and left him and started hooking up with Johnny Gargano. And he is resentful of Gargano because apparently there was some more kind of hibbity-dibbity. And he also mentioned there was things that he didn't want to mention because it was on the air. So there's some issues between like a love triangle situation. So this week on CW, we're gonna be tackling a love triangle. So
okay.
So it's like if somebody screwed you over, I would hate them residual.
Okay, so that's kind of controversial. Can I talk to you? Can I sidebar about something controversial with you for a moment?
Let's sidebar. What did I do to offend you this week? Did I say your snail sucks?
No, you didn't offend me, but you indirectly annoyed me.
Oh boy, what'd I do?
So, I am a part, even though I don't use it a lot, or ever, I'm a part of the NerdCorp Tumblr.
Yes, you are.
Which means I get all the notifications from the NerdCorp Tumblr. And oh my god, have you pissed off the entire Flash fandom.
And my bad.
Fucking, because here's the thing. I choose not to get involved because I don't watch the show. But there are very obviously people on Tumblr who do not understand where you are coming from.
Nope.
Let me lay the ground for what I see from my point of view. Chad, on a weekly basis, will tear down and dissect the character of Iris West on the Flash.
I do it to everyone.
You do it to everyone, but Iris is like the main one.
No, she's the one that I get the most flack over. So
yes.
She's the one I'm the one most responding to.
Yes.
I don't do it. All right, let's just say base posts. No one responding. Base posts, they're about even.
Okay.
But when I have to reblog and answer people, that's where the Iris factor amplifies, because I'm only ever being slammed for the Iris comment.
I know.
Not for Barry being a fucking idiot, not for Oliver being a shitty father. You insulted someone, Iris, you're racist! Okay, cool. I've dated black women before, I have black friends, I voted for Barack Obama twice, I'd vote for him a third time, but yeah, I'm a fucking racist. I love basketball, yeah, I'm a fucking racist.
I want so bad to I'm literally at one point it's gonna get too much, because I shit you not, I will go to sleep, I will wake up and there will be 7 fucking pages of notifications on my phone that just are like Tumblr, and like if it's like people reblogging or liking, I don't like, I'm just like, alright, cool, delete it, at least we're getting traffic, whatever. But then there's the 8-page rants that people go on, just fucking tooth and nail fighting this out to the end. Some people on Tumblr think, no, some, because you have a lot of people that are on your side too. I see every single notification, yes. Trust me. Some people on Tumblr don't understand that they don't have to die on every hill, but they choose to.
I love that you use that, because I use that. And I think that's why you used it. And if you didn't use it because I used it, let me pretend that that's the reason why you used it.
I use it because it's a great phrase, and also because I don't watch The Flash, so the argument is not my hill to die on for it, which is why I haven't posted anything. But this past week has gotten so under my skin that I was like, I'm going to go on the fucking NerdCorp Tumblr, and I'm going to say it's me, and I'm going to be like, if you attack Chad one more time about race issues, I'm shutting the fucking Tumblr down. I will come to your house, not your house, to the People's Replying House, and I will fight you at your front door. I will make a mockery in front of your children. like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, like everybody who ever offended them on the internet, I will look them up, track them down, and beat them up on their front porch. Because people just refuse to listen. And I hate that I have to make this statement. You're not attacking Iris West because she's a black woman. You're attacking Iris West because she's a shitty written character. And the only people that are to blame for that is, one, not the actress that plays her, but the writers that write for her.
Candice Patton is amazing. So here's the thing. For anyone listening, let me explain something that CW shows do ad nauseum since, like, the WB days. Whenever they do a drama, there's always a character that they put on the show that is an instigator. Their entire job is to literally start drama. It is not something that's brand new. It's been going on for years. Back on the One Tree Hill days, it was Peyton. And then it became Nate. And then it became Lucas and Peyton. And they literally just hop week to week on that show. Right. But since the Arrowverse started, originally it was Felicity. Felicity was the one who was constantly starting drama with Oliver. I hate to break it to any of you dudes who watch these shows. These are not action shows. They're dramas. Sorry. Welcome to the real world. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it because it gives you a point of contention to take a side with. And that's kind of the point of these shows. You're supposed to see them through your own eyes. So you're supposed to identify with these characters. And with the first few seasons with Felicity and Oliver, there was a lot of back and forth. But in season 4, it became a lot of Felicity browbeating Oliver. And that was obnoxious. With Iris, it's become a big thing to the point where she will literally yell and browbeat Barry into an apology and then the next week do the thing she yelled at him about doing. And I hate that. And yes, I take full responsibility of focalizing on Iris as the point in that. Instead of saying the writing, I just say Iris. It's the writing. It's always just the writing.
Yeah.
But I also do the same thing with Felicity. I also did the same thing with Stein. I do the same thing on Smallville with fucking Lana.
Yeah.
Fuck Lana! You think I hate Iris? Talk to me about Lana fucking Lang. I love Kristen Cruick. I thought she's a delight in everything she's ever been in. Except Smallville, I hate her. Because she's always like, Clark, why can't you just let me in? Clark, you can't keep secrets from me. I'm a fucking alien from outer space. The national government wants me in a cell. I got dudes trying to kill me on a weekly basis. And oh yeah, Lex wants to dissect me, but I'll tell you all my deep, dark secrets, because that way you can feel important. How small is your ego, my friend? Jesus Christ. And Iris does the same shit, man. She does the same shit. So that aggravates me. Right. And I point it out. And then they're like, well, as a black woman myself, I like the character. And for you to say that, really dehumanizes the fandom and make us feel like we can't achieve things. And I'm like, I said she's not the Flash.
Yeah.
She's not. She's not a speedster. She cannot do the same things Barry can. And Barry's not even dating Iris anymore. He's dating Jessica Cruz. Fuck off.
It's just, like, I don't know. It's like you point out things that are, like, to me, and, like, obviously I'm on your side with this because I know you. You are my friend. You're like an older brother. I'm a
jackass. You understand how I roll.
Right. When I was, like, because when I was, alright, so it's another sidebar for the sidebar. Last night, when I was hanging out with my girlfriend, I was telling her
You like saying that phrase, don't you? My girlfriend.
Yes, I do. It's been over 3 years since I've been in a committed relationship.
I'm happy. So
I am too. I was telling her about, like, she was asking about all my friends, and when she asks about my friends, or anybody asks about my friends, I always bring you up as one of my friends.
Yes.
Because you are one of my friends, and you're like a confidant to me. You're somebody I can tell anything to, and know that I'm going to get a straight, sincere response from. So, she was like, which one is the stubborn one again? And I go, oh, Chad. And she goes, right, Chad's the one that likes to poke fun at people. I go, no, well, yes, but no, that's Troy. And she's like, oh, you have very eclectic friends.
That's a good word. I like her choice of words.
Yeah, I like her. I mean, she's studying to become a nurse at Ohio State, so.
The Ohio State pissed me off today, so
I'm just glad they won, because when all the Penn State people leave my hotel tomorrow, I can rub it in their big old dumb faces.
Oh, hello, Penn State banner I have in my office staring at me, taunting me. Because we could have been in the playoffs this year. You schmucks. Play defense! Sorry.
Hey, I'm not going to yell at you about it, because you weren't the guest standing in my lobby looking at me across the front desk telling me that Penn State was going to whoop our asses.
Oh, see, I don't do that. I may rock the gear, but like I ran into a dude at the gas station today, and he had a big Ohio State sweater on. I just turned around, I'm like, sorry, because we were up 14-0 at the time. And he looks at my shirt and goes, oh, it's alright, I still have faith. I'm like, yeah, well, you guys are a good team, so you should. But we're still pretty good.
Yeah.
But Saquon Barkley just kind of...
Yeah. So basically...
I didn't think that was possible.
I know how you operate. And I know that when you attack a character, you're not attacking a character at face value. It's never that. It's always... But, like, people just don't get it. And, like, I don't want to get involved because then I'm an accessory to your bullshit. And that's the last thing I need right now, because I know it's going to turn into a full-on fucking fight between me and random Joe Schmo on the internet. And my favorite thing is when you get the people who do write the 7, like, paragraph, like, essays back to you about, like, why you're wrong, and then they say, this is the last time I'm responding to you. And it's like, it doesn't matter if this is the last time we're responding to you. I just got an actual, like, I got a conversation collegiate, like, AMA format out of your or APA format out of your fucking response. I don't need you to respond again. You just bared your soul to me on the internet. Like,
I now know what color your tonsils are because of how deep I was just inside of you.
It's fucking...
I think part of the issue for me, and I don't mean to cut you off, so
no, it's fine.
Right on. What else did you have to say?
No, there was one in particular that I can't remember their names. So even if I did know their name, their username, I wouldn't.
That because we can come back to that. Yeah. Because mine's just gonna be a little segue.
Okay.
Part of my issue is I talk about CW shows like I talk about wrestling, where I put the onus of responsibility on the wrestler. And that's where I fuck myself. I know that. I know that I do that. I do it subconsciously without even realizing it because I analyze everything the same. You know, maybe if, like, all right, I think Donald Trump's a dumb, rotting Cheeto, but let's say I have an issue with his speech. I know he did not write that speech, but I'm still going to blame him.
Yeah.
I know Sean Kaiser didn't call up that fucking ridiculous goddamn 3-yard in and out on a fucking third and 13. That was you. Bum, gonna blame Kaiser. I know that. And I do the same thing with wrestling. And I do the same thing with these TV shows. They are a manifestation and a representation of the writer and creative staff on that show, including the showrunner. I should be slamming Berlanti and the others. I don't. That is my mistake. I own that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to change it.
Right.
I'm just letting everyone know. I know exactly why people get pissed off. And I don't mean to piss off the Irish fans specifically, because in the first week, I was like, this is the perfect way to use her. She took a role that no one else could take and laid it on. And now that everyone's back, she should relinquish the role because she didn't do too well at it. Mm-hmm. That was it. And everyone's like, yeah! And I'm like, okay. You done? I can tell you why you're wrong. All right. So what was the one post in particular?
No. There was a response.
Okay. What was the one post response?
Like I said, I don't know who it was from, and I'm not going to bother to look it up because I don't care enough, and I wouldn't even want to give the person the recognition because they're a piece of shit. And
with their four or five fucking followers. Oh, you're so influential.
So the response was something along the lines of, I can tell that you, as a white cis male, and that's all I got through. That's all I made it through. All I got through is like I didn't even make it like I made it a sentence in before I was like, I have to stop myself, walk around my house 3 times, and come back and then read this. Because I know if I keep going now, I'm going to respond to this person. So I stop myself, I walk away, I come back, I sit back down and I read through all of it, and it's just full on, let's reignite the race war. Right. Based off of one fictional character who is written poorly by, I'm going to go on record and say, straight white males. I mean, it's Hollywood. But
so,
first off, on the NerdCorp Tumblr, you don't even, like, do you have a link to your personal Tumblr there? No. Okay.
No. For a good reason.
Right. We don't list anybody's ethnicity, gender, anything like that on any of our professional stuff. On our personal stuff, like, you go to my Instagram, you go to my Twitter, you know I'm a straight white dude with glasses and a beard. You go to your personal Twitter, your personal Instagram, you know what you look like. You're a white guy, straight white guy. Ace, Zach, I mean, Zach doesn't really, but you know, Marcus, everybody.
Yeah.
But we don't make that clear on any of the professional stuff.
No. And there's a reason for that.
Yes, because
the conversation is not about what we are. It's about what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you focus on what we are, you are no longer part of the conversation. You are exactly what is wrong with this country.
Right.
Focus on the words, not the color.
Exactly. And that's what got me about that one, is they attacked us, you specifically, as people, and think that our ideas are based off of our background, when really we're just giving our subjective opinions on a fake show.
Yep.
Which is like, I mean, we're used to it anyways because wrestling fans are the most, like, up in arms fandom I could ever think of.
Yeah.
Besides maybe like people who like the NFL.
No. I would argue, in order, wrestling fans, because I saw, we'll get to that. It's wrestling fans, Irish West fans, and then the NFL.
It's just like, that's my thing. I don't understand. Not every argument is fucking storming the beach at Normandy. You don't have to die there that day.
Nope.
You can pack it up, rethink where you're coming from, review the tape. We have instant replay. This is not fucking, I don't know, what's a sport without instant replay? This isn't hockey. You know, you don't get to review.
Hockey does have instant replay.
It does have instant replay, but it doesn't. They don't review plays for.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
this is what I meant.
Yeah.
Like
same with basketball. Then
you can review the tape. You can rewatch it, and it's the internet. You can edit whatever the fuck you want.
There are people who literally post GIFs called the wrong flash quotes, And it's like Barry walking into a very dramatic scene saying, "I like bananas," and it's just like written text on the GIF.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can literally do whatever you want. So we have 6 people who have access to this blog.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all white. They're not all
Marcus?
straight. No, one of them is not. Marcus does not have a Tumblr.
Oh.
But here's the funny thing. People are like, well, I always see your posts.
That's because you're the most vocal.
You ever see me post about the WWE and their racist bullshit? You ever see me clamoring for the fact that Kofi Kingston should have had a world title reign by now?
How the fuck did Kofi not win the belt in 09? I'm sorry.
Nope. It's an adequate and accurate representation of what is wrong with the WWE. But the thing is, like, people point, like, oh, you say bad things about Irish, you're a racist. I say a lot of good things about a lot of other people. You don't see me getting praised for that shit. So that's why I don't even pay like any mind. I laugh when they say that because I'm like, you don't even know what I am. You're assuming because it makes your argument valid.
Yeah.
And like the one person went out of their way to call me a sexist, misogynistic, racist. I'm like, you don't know me. You're calling me those things to justify your arguments because you don't have any. You know you're losing this. And I had one person so Thomas Cavanaugh. How great is Thomas Cavanaugh?
Oh, he's great.
Fantastic.
I love Dan.
He's one of the only reasons I'm still watching because he's just so goddamn fun. He came in this week because he's had like 3 or 4 different characters because multiversities and all that, and he's playing the one character he's been playing the longest for the last 3 seasons. And he came in, figured out how to stop the bad guy, figured out the connection between the bad guy and the main bad guy, figured out how everyone was created this season because like there was another black what was it Black Energy, Dark Matter. There's another Dark Matter kind of release. I knew it was something like that.
No, I love shit like that. When somebody can't think of what it's actually called, so they just use, like, synonyms.
Something similar to it. So he figured all this stuff out.
Black Energy. Dark Matter, that's it.
So he figured everything out. And then, like, this one person posted, like, Harry literally yells at Cisco all day. And I'm like, what? Iris was running around at funerals trying to get married. What are you talking about? You cannot compare these two this week. It's just, like, you can't. One literally solved every problem the team had. The other tried to get married without her parent present. That's fucked up. So, like, listen, you want to come down hard on Thomas Cavanaugh's Harry Wells because he was kind of mean to Cisco? That's fine. But point out the fact that Iris West desecrated a funeral just so she could get a quickie marriage in. Call a spade, otherwise shut the fuck up. Like, hit them when it's accurate. Don't fluff up the nonsense. That's what I do. I hit them when it's accurate. My favorite characters, I have ripped to shreds. My favorite wrestlers, I've ripped to shreds. AJ Styles, I am side-eyeing you hard for your flat earth comments and your very subtle dislike of certain sexual orientations. I see you. And I
very subtle. What do you mean, very subtle?
Like when he called Kevin Owens a faggot for no reason. Yeah, I heard you, AJ. I heard you.
Yeah,
we all
it wasn't
heard you.
subtle.
The heard you.
You don't remember his fucking radio interview?
Oh, when he laughed at the guy.
The guy goes, "How do you feel about your large representation of fans in the gay community?" And his response was literally, and I quote, "The gay community," unquote.
You can appreciate somebody and disagree with them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
100%.
people don't know that nowadays. They think you need to die on every hill. Me, I decided not to die on every hill. I just made one giant hill. And it has all my things in it. I'm going to put my flag in there and be like, hey, come knock me off. I'm here. I don't like that AJ Styles has those opinions. I don't like that he thinks the earth is flat.
I don't know if he actually thinks the earth is flat. I heard from a decent source who's apparently close to Daniel Bryan state that Bryan brought that conversation up on Talking Smack to make fun of an NBA player.
Well, no, he did, but at the time, Kyrie Irving is the NBA player, right?
Yes.
Kyrie Irving's a fucking lunatic. Like, I don't mean that in like a mean way. I mean, like, I don't know what this dude is gonna say. He's crazy. So they had this NBA court in Milwaukee. They have this nice, it's 14-year-old arena, but they're like, hey, we're going to do a throwback night. We're going to go to our old arena because it's still standing, and we're going to play a game there. So they brought the NBA arena floor to this new stadium because these floors are easy to break down.
Yeah.
Most NBA arenas that have hockey teams just build the floor on top of the ice rink. So they brought the NBA arena floor over to this new, and they painted it up real nice. It looked pretty beautiful. It's a brand spanking new floor. It's going to go to their developmental team after the game. So it's nice and pretty, and Kyrie walks on and goes, "Nah, it's not an NBA court." And they're like, "Yeah, it is. They just painted it funny." And he's like, No, it's totally not. No, it doesn't feel like an NBA court. I felt like this before an NBA court." And everyone's just looking around like, it's literally has to be approved by the NBA. It has to be a literal NBA court. What are you on, Kyrie? So the dude is literally a spaceman. So my favorite photo that I made myself was when he was on one of those morning shows on ESPN. I painted his eyes green and gave him two little green antennas with a little bubble. The Earth is flat, LeBron. I love that fucking picture. But apparently, to the best of my knowledge, and I don't know if I'm right, I'm just saying from what I've heard, that AJ Styles had said something in the locker room kind of affirming that he kind of takes Kyrie's side. Not in a, I believe it, but in a, how do we not know? Like, how do we know it's not? But
that's fair.
It's not, because it's proven. Like, this is something that, like, you can say the Earth is round, and we can prove it. To say, well, how do we know the Earth isn't flat? Because we'd all be dead.
I'm still saying he's wrong, but what was his exact words on Talking Smack, where there's some things about it that make sense, is all he's saying.
Right, but there's not. There's literally nothing about the flat Earth theory that makes sense. Like, that's the thing.
I don't know enough about the flat Earth theory to disagree. So
they say that because you don't see the ball of the Earth, that you've never seen it as a round orb, that it's flat.
Well, I mean, not disagree with the theory, but I don't know enough about the theory to disagree with saying that there's not things that don't make sense, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is,
obviously, if the Earth was flat, you sail to the fucking edge, you fall off the Earth. Right. The end. But
what I'm saying is, like, the stuff they argue is the same stuff that people show as evidence. Like, you know how, like, if you go up to a specific point, like, the horizon grows? Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, see, that proves that the Earth is flat. What? No, it doesn't. That proves that it's round.
Yeah.
And the people who are saying that it's flat are, like, these really obscure, like, steel can't burn at 5,000 degrees kind of people. It's like, what? Shut up. You uncultured swines. You don't know science. Obviously, the steel burns at 5,000. I don't even know that's accurate. I was pulling something out of my ass to kind of make it. It's like the people who make ether alcohol, and they're like, oh, yeah, you can give this to babies. No, you can't. You kill them. I mean, maybe that's what you're trying to go for, and in which case, yeah, you are correct. But don't do it. So AJ's a weird dude in his own right. Plus, he stuck around Dixie Carter for a lot longer than he really should have. I want him to be in TNA and Impact, like, perpetually. That's where I think he belongs. But when in 2010, you are in the midst of your biggest run ever. You are having great matches with Daniels and Joe and Pope and Desmond and Angle, and then you come in and they're like, yeah, we're going to bring Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy, and you're going to get buried by them.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm gone.
Look,
Uses.
I know exactly when I would have said goodbye if I was AJ Styles, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about...
Yeah.
What are you talking about before?
I was talking about Claire Lynch.
That was terrible.
I would have
said... I actually have some inside info about that if you want to.
Didn't she, like, hate the angle?
Shh. The woman playing the role hated it. But Dixie wanted it to be more risque. He wanted it to be more not so much Claire, but because they actually had somebody else for that role entirely. But for whatever reason, that fell through. It's kind of like the Black Scorpion gimmick.
Uh-huh.
Remember, it was supposed to be someone else, and then they were like, he dropped out, so we're just going to make it Flair.
Yep.
Similar idea. I don't know who it was. Either it was a wrestler or I completely forgot. But that person fell through, so they basically went to Universal Studios and said, who are your actresses? And they picked one. It was like going to like a cereal aisle and going, Count Chocula. Chocula looks fine. Let's go ahead. So she wanted it to be a lot more subversive and kind of more like maybe because they wanted her to be hot, like smoking like Lacey Von Erich in a push-up bra in front of Family Feud hot, like popping out. You should not be popping out. But apparently, they found Claire and it tanked the whole angle. Her acting, the way she looked, and I didn't think she was unattractive. I thought she was attractive, but when you're trying to say like attractive enough to make me cheat, and that was Styles' exact words or paraphrasing was like she needed to be hot enough that it would be legitimate to make people think that I would cheat on my wife.
Yeah,
and apparently there was supposed to be some more stuff with Surge, but Surge wasn't really comfortable with it, so he kind of backed a bit out because he was working a lot on the music and voiceover side of the things in Impact.
Right.
So it was an angle that was supposed to be like classic 98, 99 Vince Russo melodrama, but everything just fell apart when they tried to build the erector set.
Well, that was their first mistake.
Yeah, no, the entire thing was a mistake in the first place. Like, let's not even pretend that wasn't a thing. But it could have been just a bad angle instead of being the colossal disaster it was.
I've been seeing all week on Twitter Dave Meltzer going back and forth with people about how he's just been burying Vince Russo, and rightfully so.
He's terrible.
Vince Russo is just I mean, he's done some things where I don't want to completely destroy his reputation for the people who give a shit about what I think, because he's done charity stuff and.
He's not a bad person. I would never say that. I think he's kind of swarmy.
Yeah.
A little slimy. But I wouldn't say he's a terrible person.
Yeah.
And I will say this. His style of booking TV wrestling, like the matches themselves, was more efficient in getting people over. Because these 40 fucking minute matches between Sheamus and fucking Curtis Axel, who's that helping?
Nobody.
Why is Finn Balor going 20 minutes with Tozawa?
Tozawa.
Thank you.
You got it right.
I emphasized the wrong part of Tozawa.
Yeah.
I was trying to emphasize the Z more than the Tozawa. So
it's just.
But it's like when you're able to book those smaller, quicker matches, you put over these top stars faster.
It makes me because he should take a lot more blame for a lot of things that were his fault, that he just doesn't get blamed for. Like David Arquette gets blamed for the whole winning the world championship in WCW, but he didn't want to do it. He said,
I have too much respect for this belt, I do not want to do this, and Vince Russo conned him into doing it.
I will say this, David Arquette, he gave all of the money that he earned from his WCW appearances to the wives of wrestlers who passed on, most notably Melanie Pillman. I
will never say... here's the thing. I kind of enjoyed his run because you could tell he enjoyed doing it. I'm never going to say it was a good idea. But David Arquette loved it. Yeah. And that's what I want. Like Hugh Jackman, when he came out that one night, you could tell he was just having the most fucking fun ever. They got to punch Zack Ryder. Dude, that was my dream.
Was it Zack Ryder that... No, he was on Zack Ryder's side.
Oh, that's right. He punched... was it Ziggler?
Yeah, I think so.
Still my dream. Still my dream. So, whenever I see a celebrity actually enjoy being there, I don't give a shit what they do. Just make sure it's entertaining. And with Arquette, it was, to a degree. And the thing is, WCW in 2000 was bad. But from, mid-January to mid-April, it was less bad. It still wasn't great. It's like watching some of those World Wrestling All-Star pay-per-views. Remember those? You ever see those? Those are fun. But it's kind of like watching one of those. Not great, but it's like, okay, it's scratching an itch. I'm good.
Right.
But then you get to his run from mid-April to, December? Fucking garbage. Unwatchable, unentertaining, nothing doing garbage. They pulled back the curtain, so to speak. Had a lot of inside terms that wasn't on the script. That wasn't supposed to happen. You had Mark Mann and this fucking fat, jolly, fucking misogynistic, fat, fucking fuck.
Goldberg
face.
Isn't following the script.
That I literally turned off WCW from. And it was during when my second favorite WCW wrestler of all time, Booker T, was in the midst of a world heavyweight title push. That should show you just how pissed off I was after that fucking line of dialogue came out of Brand's fat fucking turkey jelly neck.
I think that's got to be my second, like, that whole era of booking has got to be my second favorite Steiner quote of all time.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
You hear that sound? That's the sound of people changing the channels to watch WWE or WWF because WCW sucks.
They fired Stone Cold when we had him. We got stuck with Ric Flair.
Of course, we know what the first best Steiner quote of all time is.
The 33 and a third.
Yeah.
When you put your 33 and a third and his 33 and a third, that's 66 and a third, and that's still not compete with my 123 and a third.
Or you take your 33 and 1/3 chance of winning and subtract your 25% chance of winning.
And you got no chance.
That leaves
'cause I'm the chance.
That leaves you like 8 1/3 chance of winning and something like that. And you take my 66 1/3 percent of winning and add on my 75% chance of winning if we was to go 1-on-1, and I got 141 2/3% chance winning at sacrifice. Senior Joe. He called him Senior Joe.
He did.
He's Samoan. It's in his name.
Can we just acknowledge two things? One, Petey Williams looked so confused in that promo. I'm almost positive that's why he left the business for 3 years, because he was still trying to deal with the mental ink of that moment. Two, that dude called not Petey, Scott Steiner. That dude called Samoa Joe half-breed way too many times to make me feel all right.
Yeah, no.
You're just a stupid fat half-breed. I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's 100%.
Look, man.
Pretty sure.
There's only one thing Scott Steiner cares about, and that's fat asses.
I'll tell you what, though. Like, Scott Steiner's one of those dudes. He'll say some racist shit, but he'll also be the first to lay with any woman of any tone. Like, I don't know that dude's a racist or what, but, like, he sure does spread it around. So, I don't know. You tell me what that is. I don't know. Dude scares me. Not because I think he kicked my ass, but because I just don't know what he is. Like, he comes off so repugnant sometimes, but also so well-spoken other times.
He's something.
He definitely has some anger issues, that's for damn sure. The Petey Williams story is the best.
Does he still own that Shoney's in Georgia?
Yeah. It's actually doing pretty well for me.
I want to go there.
You want to go see him as he walks around and greets everyone?
Yeah, I just want to shake his hand. And be like,
how you doing? You enjoying the ribs? They're 33 1/3% off today.
It's like, you know that all of your food here at Shoney's is going to get everyone fat asses.
If he says if he renames some of the Shoney menus, it's a chain to my understanding, right?
It is. Yeah, he just owns one. I don't think so.
If he renamed some of the menu items to a fat ass burger, oh god, that'd be awesome. The 33 1/3 calorie ribs, the half breed salad.
I want to buy a Lazy Boy from Scott Steiner.
Oh,
so
why?
So every day when I come home, I can sit in my Steiner recliner.
oh my god! Why does he not make that? Scott Steiner, come buy your Steiner recliner today.
So apparently, Shoney's is technically a Frisch's Big Boy.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
We don't have any big boys up around here anymore.
We have one still here in Columbus. Founder Alex Schoenbaum became a licensee of Big Boy restaurants in 1952. So
look at that.
Yeah, Shoney's and Frisch's Big Boys. I guess they probably don't sell the same like stuff.
Could it be like Hardee's and
Carl's Jr.?
Carl's Jr. Well, yeah, Hardee's and Carl Jr.
Checkers and Rallies.
Rallies and Checkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on the same fucking brainwave, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. They like makes me mad when people when I tell people hey, I love Rallies, and like, you mean Checkers, and I'm like, no, it's called Rallies here, asshole.
And we drink pop, not soda. Get the fuck over it.
I say both. I want to put it on record. I say both.
So to clarify, Alex is in the part of the country because it's like Maine through Pennsylvania, upper Ohio, upper Indiana, upper Illinois, up through Minnesota, Wisconsin, all the way through like Washington. That's pop. he's literally at that region where it's pop-in soda.
Yeah.
It's like being in Toledo and Ohio. You're both allowed to be an Ohio State fan and a Michigan fan.
Yeah, so basically from like Columbus down to basically like I'm trying to think like
Tijuana.
No, like down to a certain point right around like near the like just past the Bible Belt, it's soda. But it's also pop because from like Columbus north into the northeast, it's pop.
Well, I know Florida's soda because I have cousins in Florida, and they're always like, "Why do you say pop?"
Florida is its own thing, but literally in like the surrounding states of like Florida, like Georgia and Louisiana and Alabama and all them, it's every soft drink is a Coke.
Yes, I've actually heard that.
They call everything Coke.
Go get your Coke. What kind of Coke? Can I get a Sierra Mist? Do they even make Sierra Mist anymore?
Yeah, Sierra Mist is still a thing.
Okay, good.
I mean, it's no Sprite.
Not that I care.
But...
Right, Sprite's kind of one of those things. I'm like, if they ever make a non-sugar Sprite, I'm fucked.
How is it that? So, like, if I have an upset stomach or I'm feeling sick, I'll drink a Sprite to make me feel better.
So here's why. Technically, it would work with any pop, except for the fact that Pepsis and Cokes and all that have heavy caramel in it to make it dark.
Ah, that's what it is.
It's the caffeine. It's the caffeine and the bubbling effect. That's why they tell you when you have an upset stomach, drink ginger ale, because the carbonation and the bubblings will help clear out your stomach because it'll help soothe things.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's the caramel that fucks you up. So like do Sprite, Sierra Mist, ginger ale if you like shitty food or shitty drinks, I should say. But stay away from anything with color to it.
Yeah, I don't really like ginger ale all that much.
No one does. I don't know anyone who drinks that. That or seltzer water. Like anyone who drinks that voluntarily is a weird.
Yeah.
Like you just are. I'm sorry, people. You just are.
Yeah.
So anyway, Bound for Glory is this weekend.
We've been all over the place.
We are all over the place. So Sami Callihan, Ricochet, and apparently Tessa Blanchard.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because she's dating Ricochet. So.
Well, she actually debuted in Impact not that long ago.
Well, she's good. I mean.
Well, she's fantastic. She's amazing. Here's the thing. All right, so Alberto Patron's ready to come back. Don Callis is expected to be making his debut
as an announcer.
Yeah, former Cyrus. No, not as an announcer because they like JB and John. Apparently, they're looking at him as the next head of Impact. Now,
okay. I'm fine with that.
Well, he actually already had that role back in 2003. Because he was the quote-unquote figurehead when Brian Urlacher threw Johnny Fairplay into the security.
Shit.
Yeah, Don Callis was the head of that. So it'd be a return to form 14 years later. So I'm fine with that.
Oh, since we're on TNA, I can segue into this once you're done. I watched the third ever weekly TNA pay-per-view because the new Legacy guys are doing like Discords, like watch-alongs with it. And so I've seen the first 3 weekly TNA pay-per-views. Like I could talk to you about number 3 because boy, oh boy, was that a shitbag.
That was the one out of Huntsville, or was that in Nashville? Because they did 4... 2 in Huntsville and 2 in Nashville. I can't remember which one is which.
I don't know.
I want to say it was Nashville, then Huntsville.
I don't know, but K Crush, he was wearing a shirt with his face on it.
Yes, he was. So, Sami Callihan, Tessa Blanchard, she's appearing at the post-pay-per-view TV tapings, apparently. And unfortunately for me, the Reno Scum go in order to make rooms for some of these moves, and it sucks without Reno Scum. So, Adam Thornstone, Luster the Legend, if you're listening, doubt you are. But I love you guys. I hope to see you on TV soon, and you awesome. So I'm excited about some of these movies, though.
Should probably look at one of their matches eventually.
They had a really good one on the Amped Anthology series.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot who it was with. It was I think it was like a Mexican tag team, like a Lucha Libre tag team.
Right.
They do this move called the Oki Killer, and Thornstone grabs the guy in like a submission where he grabs the arms and puts his foot in the back and pulls him.
Right.
And Thornstowe comes off the top rope and does like a double tap to the guy's back of his head.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it looks so violent, but so beautiful.
Okay.
I'm surprised they got rid of these guys.
I saw this on Twitter earlier, but I'm going to repeat it because I think it's the greatest wrestling finisher of all time. Tag team finisher.
Okay.
Set up. One guy gets him set up for the heart attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got him like spine buster, like ready, like bounce off the ropes. Instead of going for the clothesline, go bounce off the other set of ropes so you're coming at the guy that you have set up for the heart attack from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Back rake.
It's really, that's fun. That's good shit.
Just a double team back rake. Heart attack into back rake. That's the best tandem wrestling maneuver.
That's awesome.
Oh, man.
All right, let's talk about this weekly pay-per-view.
Oh my god, it was bad. So, let's just... I'm trying to think. It starts with the president of NWA giving Mike Tenay a trophy.
Yes, because they were doing such great work with the NWA title.
Yep. And, who was it? Oh, he announced that the main event was going to be Scott Hall and Brian Christopher facing K-Crush and Double J Jeff Jarrett. Which, I mean, that's a clusterfuck of a main event anyways.
So, little backstory. They didn't have anyone sign 2 contracts, like actual secure contracts at this.
Yeah.
So the number of people leaving and coming back through the next year and a half, 2 years is staggering. You see Steve Corino in the chase to crown a new title, but then you don't see him for 14 fucking weeks, and then he pops back up and he's like, "Sup, Goldilocks?" Steve Corino. Like, what the fuck you been? So there's a lot of people that they were using just because they knew that they could get him, and that's where Brian Christopher comes.
So, I'm trying to think of everything that I know that this week is going to be. This week was the tag team tournament to crown the NWA tag team champions.
Mm-hmm.
So the first match is the newly formed team, because they formed on the second TNA pay-per-view, of the Wildcat Chris Harris and the Tennessee Cowboy James Storm.
No official name yet, either.
No name yet. They were just like James Storm coming out. He's got the chaps on and the cowboy hat, and he's got a clean-shaven face, and he comes out and he fires the guns still. And Chris Harris is looking like a real pervert, you know, as always.
Chris Harris.
I mean,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, he was dating SoCal Val when she was teens. But then again, who would?
So they come out and it's them in the opening match it's them versus the Johnsons.
Yeah.
And the Johnsons, for anybody who don't know, is if you remember, and you probably won't because it doesn't matter. Simon Dean brings in the Gemini in WWE. That's who was portraying the Johnsons, and they were both in like a peach tan, like full body suit, in an attempt to make them look like giant penises. Hence the name the Johnsons.
Well, technically, they intended on them look like giant penises in condoms.
Yes, but their names were Richard Dick Johnson and Rod Johnson. Yeah, so
Vince Russo wrote this, you know that, right?
Yes, and it was real bad. Chris Harris and James Storm win because they obviously should. The funny thing is that before NWA became NWA-TNA, they were the something brothers. I
thought it was like the Shane twins.
The Shane twins, yeah. The Shane twins were the NWA Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
They get the NWA-TNA stripped the belts off of them and then turned them into the Johnsons.
Well, backstory on that as well. Because I have a dearth of early TNA knowledge for literally no reason whatsoever. They wanted to bring in both the Shane twins and Dan Severn to defend the belts on the first pay-per-view where they would have the changeover.
Right.
But Dan Severn opted out. Didn't want to do it. For whatever reason. I think it was like a pay thing. So instead of having the Shane twins, who had just won their first belt some month prior, I think, prior to the first taping. They're like, well, we'll just strip them and start over. And that's essentially how they got dicked over. So they should have just came in as is. Or if you guys gimmick, they would have been fine.
Yeah.
I remember the match not being as bad as people think it was, but the gimmick they had made it just unwatchable.
No, like, you could tell.
Because you're watching two giant penises try to...
Yeah, you could tell that the Shane twins are really, like, decent hands at the time.
Yeah,
and, like,
they're good hosses.
Yeah, and they're big dudes, too. They're real big guys. And, like, they could have been something special, but Russo. So...
To be fair, Russo, Ferrara, and Dutch.
I fucking hate Ed Ferrara.
Yeah, he's scummy. He was wearing dreadlocks, dude.
I'm
not a fan of the whole appropriation culture thing, but like that time, like I would have smacked him for anyone if they had claimed it.
Don't worry, we'll get to more of Ed Ferrara later. As much as I hate,
do we have to? Is this the one that I'm thinking of with the strip?
Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
God.
So, Harris and Storm wins. They're not the America's Most Wanted yet. They haven't come up with the greatest tag finisher of all time yet.
They're still doing the goofy intro with the...
I'll fucking say this. Don't at me on Twitter. The Death Sentence is the greatest fucking tag team finisher of all time, and if you got a problem with that, I'll happily debate you.
And the fact that the bigger one did it is crazy.
And I'm saying that, like, I'm even saying that over the Doomsday Device.
Yeah. And folks, this dude, we've had hour-long arguments over Steiner's and Legion of Doom. He will not back from Legion of Doom. I will never ask him to. So if he's saying it, he means it. If I say it, I'm just being a dick.
Death Sentence is the greatest tag team finisher of all time. I don't get me wrong. I love Doomsday Device. I love the Heat Bomb. I love whatever the Steiners called their finish. Did
they have one?
Electric Chair Bulldog.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot
about the reverse Doomsday.
Yeah, it literally is.
Yeah,
I think it's just called the Steiner Dog.
Probably. Fucking Death Sentence is so good. It looks so crazy too. And did Harris do the leg drop?
If I remember correctly, yeah, I want to say it was Harris because I always remember a more muscular figure, and Storm was kind of doughy at the time.
Now I gotta look it up.
I could be wrong. I want to say it was Harris.
Yeah, I gotta look it up now. I fucking love AMW.
They were
so good.
Chris Harris is making a small comeback, and I'm hoping he.
Chris Harris did the diving leg drop.
He was. Oh my god, like 2002 to 2005. I don't remember a dude more over as a tag team wrestler who should have been a singles wrestler in my life than him.
He was. Oh my god, he was so big at that time too. Like he put on so much weight. Looking at him in these weekly pay-per-views, he got so big.
Do you want to hear a very cool story about them?
Yes.
So, when they were doing the lead up to Slammiversary, not Slammiversary. I mean, it would eventually be Slammiversary, the first show. I call it Slammiversary 0. They knew that they couldn't just spend gobs and gobs of money on all the free agents, because there was a lot of guys available at the time. So they're like, we need to go and look at some young talent. And they just so happened at the Nashville Asylum that TNA would run for the next 2 years. There was a show, so they went and checked it out. And Chris Harris was somebody Jeremy Borash knew from ECW. He portrayed some of the Sting characters during the Jarrett Sting feud in 2000. He was also as a wrestler and was part of Saturday Night until it got canceled. So they knew him and they wanted him back. And he was wrestling a guy that they'd never heard of, Storm, and they had this amazing match that blew away. And they went into it thinking, we'll sign them, and maybe we'll do something more with them in a feud. But then a tag team, I forget who it was supposed to be, dropped out, and they literally went, you guys are going to be a tag team. And they're like, we don't want to be a tag team. They're like, well, it's either you're a tag team or you're not on the show, because we don't have room for you. And they said, all right, make us a tag team.
On the second weekly TNA pay-per-view led to one of my favorite segments where they go up and they find Chris Harris and fucking James Storm just hanging out in the back in jeans, and they like, we don't have a tag team, we need a tag team. These two hunks in jeans. Like,
was James Storm's jeans unbuttoned? One of them's were.
One of them was. I don't remember which, but definitely one of them like was getting changed.
I saw that. I'm like, what?
Because one of them wrestled that night. I think it was Storm.
Well, no, it was one of those things where like, do we have time to change? Got to go now.
Yeah, that's what it was. But it was like, we see these two hunks in jeans. You guys are both wearing jeans. You guys are both good-looking dudes. You're a tag team. Get out there. And then they
were
became...
supposed to face off with Lodi and Lenny.
And Lodi
was hurt.
And
so
they
brought in
Bruce.
Alan Funk. Yeah.
Bruce.
Alan Funk, Bruce, or Kiwi.
Kiwis.
Thank you. Sorry, I said Kiwi. Yeah. Kiwi. It's not better.
God, what a bad... We'll get to them later. They're coming up. Okay. So after that first match, stand up, fluffed up.
Poor Trevor.
Hey, he went on to do some stuff.
I know. That's why I said poor Trevor Murdoch. He was a good worker.
He was good. Him and old Garrison Cade.
Oh God, I feel bad for that man.
Poor guy. Okay,
all right, so we get Mortimer Plumtree's berating the Johnsons. He's whacking the Johnsons around. He's really beating them.
They make Ed Ferrara makes a point to say that on commentary multiple times. Look at him just beating his Johnsons. Yep. So they turn on him. It looks like they're supposed to go for a double choke slam, but one of them's just not having it, and so they just kind of fucking throw him on the ground and walk out. And he's all crying and being a little, little
bitch, baby.
Yeah. So that cut to like commercial or whatever, or just blackout, because I was watching this on the Global Force Wrestling Network.
I like that. That's a good app.
Yeah, I really do like it, and I'm glad that I get to watch all the old stuff, because that's what I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. So then we get good old, here comes good old drunk Scott Hall, and I don't know if he was drunk when he came out, but this was what, 2002? He was definitely on the sauce hard.
Oh yeah.
So he comes out, does his whole shtick. Hey yo, Jeff Jarrett comes out and has probably the line of the night. Hey yo, my ass. That's exactly what he says to Scott Hall.
Wait, who says this?
Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, okay.
Says, hey yo, my ass, and calls Scott Hall a bitch. Then they're getting ready to fight. NWA president Jim Miller, I think was the guy's name, stops him, says he's not going to ambush and just do whatever he wants. Then K Crush comes out, a.k.a. Ron the Truth Killings, and ambushes Hall, but gets dumped out by Hall. Then after that segment, they go backstage, and Goldilocks, who, God, I hate her.
Really?
She's not good. She's so, she can't transition anything.
She gets better. She does get better.
But, not in week 3, she's not good.
No.
So, Goldilocks is in the locker room, and Chris Harris and James Storm got ambushed and are left bloodied, and I shit you not, in one moment, so Storm is on the floor covered in blood, and Chris Harris is sitting in a chair, and he's got blood coming out of his nose. He turns and goes to spit blood and spits straight in James Storm's face.
Oh, that's close.
It's not great. So then we get the TNA debut of the greatest TNA wrestler to never win the belt, Monty Brown. Fun
story about Monty. They told him in 2006, we want you to work 40 independent dates.
Jesus.
They said we want you to work on your ring work with interacting with the fans, because Monty Brown did not do anything outside of his little head rub and then the pounds. Yeah. Very generic, and this was in a time when the rate was starting to become what it is today in terms of the expectations. They're like, Monty, you've only been doing this for 4 years. We need you to be better. And Monty refused. So they're like, then we got to let you go. So that's the story of why Monty Brown left TNA.
So Monty Brown comes out, and he came out to Abyss's music. Mm-hmm. What would later become Abyss's music. And it kind of fit, but at the same time, he's never really had a theme that fit him ever. He came out to that Down with the Sickness ripoff.
Well, the opening was definitely a ripoff, because it was all wah, but then it was just completely something different.
Yeah, and then he had that like smooth jazz intro in WWE.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
So Mock is cool.
Marquise Corvan was his original.
Do you want to know the best part about his debut?
Do
you know who it was against in the ECW? Former TNA star Cassidy Riley.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Hey, we got this TNA guy. Who should we have him beat? How about perfect? Let's do it.
Yeah. So, Monty Brown came out and cut a promo. While his music was still playing. They never stopped his music, by the way. Cuts a promo about how he wants Ken Shamrock. And
at the time, he was the NWA champion.
Who was the NWA champion, and Monty Brown had nothing going for him. He wins his match in like a minute with it's like what was it, like a power slam turned into a power bomb, the alpha bomb.
Yeah, it's like an alpha bomb. Is just fucking stupid.
Yeah,
not nearly as good as the pounce.
Yeah,
he would actually take like a 2-year break from TNA.
Yeah, because I remember him being like 2004 is when he really started. Like, he became the alpha male, and he just became the hottest thing TNA had going, but he never won the belt.
I want to say he came back in 03, like late 03, and then really started making a name in 04.
Right.
I think, because it was around the same time Abyss came back, because Abyss was with the company at the time as well, in 2002, but he wasn't Abyss.
He was Prince Justice.
Yes, he was part of the Red Shirt Security Squad.
Yeah.
Red Shirt Security Team, something like that. So, yeah. Anyway, so continue.
So, that match ends. Cut to the back. Goldilocks again, looking for President Jim Miller. And
no.
Can't find him. And then we get the debut of the Hot Shots, who walk by and say that they haven't seen him. You know who the Hot Shots were?
Yes. Chase
Stevens
and
Andy Douglas.
No.
Was it Cassidy Riley?
It was Cassidy Riley and Chase Stevens, because Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas then became the Naturals.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that they were the Hot Shots first.
No, it was Chase Stevens and Cassidy Riley first.
Oh, okay.
And then Cassidy Riley did his own solo thing, and then the Naturals came around.
And then...
No, don't do it.
I have to.
Don't talk about
it. We get the... I don't know. I think it's the debut. I don't know if he was in week 1 or week 2. I don't remember.
He was in week 2 because he was jerking off in a can.
They
really laid into the TNA theme at the time.
It's the return of Puppet the Psycho Dwarf. And he's talking about how he wants to see midget blood. This is a quote. Derogatory term. Will be said.
I don't know if there is a non-derogatory term talking about
I believe
of short stature.
I believe dwarf is the accepted nomenclature now.
I thought it was little person.
I don't know. It's one of those two.
None of them are good.
None of them are good. But
it wasn't that Psycho Dwarf wanted quote unquote midget blood.
No, he said that.
No. Oh, it's worse. It's worse. He wanted a midget holocaust. He wanted to kill every midget in the world.
He did say that.
He is the worst thing. And there's a lot in this company in 2002 to say this. But he is by far the worst thing in this company at the time.
Yep.
Bar none, no exceptions. I don't have an issue with anyone else as much as I have an issue with this thing. Yeah. This whole thing that he was a part of. It was weird, gross, and creepy.
Yeah.
And then we got Buff Bagwell, the second worst thing.
I was getting it. So he cuts his promo, and then nobody cares. Cut back, Goldilocks again, interviewing the team of Buff Bagwell and Apollo.
I have a fun fact about Apollo.
Go for it.
I have so many fun facts. Do you know that Apollo was originally supposed to be the first member of...
Yes, I did know that.
Conan hated him so much, though, that he to do the gimmick, which is something Conan really wanted to do at the time, because it was part of his influence. And he refused to do it if Apollo stayed on the team. So they got rid of Apollo.
I mean, it makes sense.
It was supposed to be Apollo and Machete.
Ooh.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was supposed to be Apollo and Siaki. Siaki left. It was Apollo and Machete. Then they got rid of Apollo and brought in a Homicide. And it was a Homicide and Machete. They got rid of Machete because he sucked. Brought in Hernandez. Oh, boy, the LAX squad in the early days.
Let's just have another conversation, because I know we've had it before about how Sonny Siaki should have been a much bigger star than he was.
The only thing that kept him back was that he gave up his career to save his brother's life. Like that.
And I'm fine with that.
Right. Of all the quote unquote failed runs, I think he's literally at the top, like right below great runs is Siaki, because he gave up his career to give his brother a kidney. I have no problem with that. I love that he did that. He's a former X Division champion, I think 2-time.
Yeah, something like that.
And he was one of the big founding people who got FCW to be talked about. So I think he had a subtly quiet career. In fact, I even put him on top 10 most underrated of all time list.
Love Sonny Siaki.
He's so good. He's so talented. He was 225 pounds and moved like AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Who was maybe 205, I think.
So Buff Bagwell does his whole, I'm buff, I'm the stuff, blah, blah, blah. Tells Apollo to say some stuff and then cuts him off. They go out and then they have a match against the Rainbow Express.
Oh, God. So this is legitimately the third worst thing. I would say it's Psycho, Puppet Dwarf, whatever his name is. Then the Dups, and we'll get to the reason why that's second. And then the Rainbow Express.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm putting... Well, I can hear myself.
Oh.
No, I went to the website to look.
Oh, okay.
And I could hear the player started. When you look at 2002, it's disgusting and it sucks, but that kind of treatment of homosexuals at the time, gay people, that was accepted. And it shouldn't have been, and we all acknowledge that now.
Yeah.
But at the time, that's just how it was. And it sucks that that's the case, and that's why they're third. The Dups were an incest tag team. Yep. They were brother and sister, and they all fucked.
Brothers
even in
and sister.
Correction. Brothers and sister. They were all of the Dup gene.
Yep.
And they all fucked, and they all made mention of it. They were like, this is my sister. No, I think one of them was a cousin, wasn't he?
Fluff was the cousin.
Fluff was the cousin, so it was a brother and a cousin. Brothers and the cousin.
Yeah.
And they were all banging one another.
Yep.
Even in 2002. That was not cool. So, that's why it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, the Rainbow Express is the team of Lenny Lane and Bruce, who are blatantly obvious homosexual characters. They're very flamboyant, and they take advantage of their opponents in the ring by putting them in positions that shouldn't be sexual and making them sexual.
They use homophobia to their advantage. Almost similar to how Goldust did it in 90s, to a much more blatant and really reprehensible degree. Now, here's the fun fact. This was literally what they wanted to do in 99 in WCW.
With who?
With Lenny and Lodi. This was their gimmick. Yeah. This was what they were going to do.
The West Hollywood Blondes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is what they were going to do. But then Glad got involved, because they were a major national promotion owned by a major national conglomerate. They killed it fast, and then just made them like these really weird business suited dudes who hung out with Stacey Keebler.
What?
Not the worst gimmick ever. I'd love that. What's up, Stacey?
What a shitty way! What a real shitty way to just kind of shit all over the legacy of Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
By calling them the West Hollywood Blondes.
To
even reference his tag team.
It's not even good. I love. It's terrible.
So, and they're being accompanied by fucking Joel Gertner.
Well.
God, what a. That's another guy that's just
thin Joel Gertner.
Oh yeah, he lost a lot of weight.
And then he gained it back.
So, the match wasn't really good. I mean, it was a Buff Bagwell match. He had already had this is post neck surgery. I think Rainbow Express goes over.
Yeah, in 6.
Yeah.
Can I say this about Buff Bagwell? It's controversial, but it's true.
Go for it.
Buff Bagwell never had a great match in his life, but he never had a bad match.
That's true.
If you wanted to make sure that you were not going to tank a match, you would put Buff Bagwell in it, because he would never deliver you a 5-star classic. But I've never really seen a dud, because he was always efficient. Well, outside of like the Goldberg Lex Luger matches, because even Shawn Michaels couldn't.
No, he had that main event on Raw with Booker T.
All right, but that wasn't even Buff Bagwell's fault.
No, you're right.
A lot of that was booking and just a lot of that.
No, you're right.
It just pissed off a lot of people because they wanted to fire Buff, and that was the reason why.
Yeah.
Like they made that match sound a lot worse than it was. It wasn't that bad. We look at it now from what we see in wrestling today, and we're like, oh, that was terrible. But at the time, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, and it was supposed to be great, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
So, I'll rephrase this. Very rare. And that was Buff's tenure. He was always a good mid card wrestler who would deliver you a decent match every time. He went out and had some decent match with David Flair, for Christ's sakes. Like, they weren't great, but they were something. So that's what I'll say about him.
Oh yeah, during the match, what was it? Ryan Shamrock came out. She was Alicia in. Yeah, came out and collected money from.
At the time.
Yeah, collected money from... Who was she dating at the time?
Ken. She was dating her former on-screen...
Oh, yeah.
That's I think it was Ferrara she took money.
Yeah, she took money from Ed Ferrara because, like, I think her whole thing was that she was a pimp.
They never really went into detail because she collected money from a bunch of dudes. So it may have been an insinuation that she was a prostitute.
Yeah, it was something.
But they never really finished it because I think she left shortly. She didn't last long.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It was a non-factor anyways. It was just something to kind of take away from the fact that this wasn't a great match. Buff, after the match, gets interviewed by Ed Ferrara, and then he says he doesn't want to be called Buff anymore, and he wants to be called Marcus, and he's upset that he got beat by two gay guys.
Literal quote.
What?
Literal quote.
Yeah, that's a quote. And then he gives his top hat to Ed Ferrara, and he says he's not Buff anymore. He's Marcus. Which, like, it's kind of a weird promo because it feels like a shoot, but I don't think it is.
Oh no, it's not.
Yeah,
it was all part of the show.
Yeah,
because he would be back to being Buff here in a few weeks.
Yeah. So that happens. Ken Shamrock comes out after that and talks to Monty Brown and is like, you're a joke, you've been here for a cup of coffee and I'm the champ, what do you want? He mentions Malice, and then James Mitchell comes out and talks to him, and he shouldn't worry about anybody but Malice, and the lights go out, and then they come back on. Shamrock is laying on the ramp and Malice is standing over him, and like nothing happened. He kind of just got like hit once from behind, but then they're like really trying to sell this whole like Shamrock's really hurt. He's really, really hurt, but like Malice kind of like probably didn't even do anything to him. Yeah. So after that,
well, you kind of undersold something.
What?
Hyping up for the next week, he was going to face top Japanese wrestler Takao Omori.
Yeah, Inori.
There's an M in his name.
Imori.
Omori.
Something
like that.
Somebody was butchering it.
The only thing that I could ever say about is he's a best who once held the Triple Crown title out of necessity.
Okay.
He wasn't good. I mean, it's not like today where we see Japanese stars and you're, oh my, you're so good. No, this was not that.
Yeah.
This was not that at all.
So that happens. They go backstage. Bill Behrens is yelling on the phone about all the chaos while he's trying to talk. He's getting like half interviewed by Goldilocks, but he's on the phone at the same time. And then Jerry Lynn walks up and is like, "Hey, I'll be your replacement tag team for Storm and Harris." And Bill Behrens is like, "What the fuck are you on about? Leave." And Jerry Lynn's like, "I'll be your replacement tag team. All I got to do is find a partner. I know a guy. I have a partner." And he's like, "I don't care. Leave. I'm trying to find Jim Miller." And then Jerry Lynn just walks away. It
would have been so much better if he would have said, "I'll be your Huckleberry."
Yes, you're right. So then there was a match after that wasn't really a match. It was Puppet the Psycho Dwarf versus Todd Stone in a hardcore midget match.
That's what it is, people. Don't yell at us. We're just telling you what it was called.
Yep. It was bad. Really bad. Puppet won. And then he started beating up everybody. The ref, Jeremy Borash, Ed Ferrara, Don West. Don West took a kendo stick to the head.
Yep.
It was bad. I will say this: Todd Stone, the guy he beat, was in one of your favorite Kevin Nash matches of all time.
Yes, he was. He was the master. He was Chris Sabin.
Yes, he was Mr. X, a.k.a. the Vanilla Midget.
Chris Sabin, I know that's you underneath that mask.
Oh, what the big boot with him sitting in the chair. So good.
I'll tell you what. I know people give him shit for the Vanilla Midget comments that he made, but they really parlayed the shit out of that in 06, and they made that angle better than it had any ever right to be.
Yep.
The only issue was that Sabin didn't go.
Yeah.
But
so they go.
But here's the thing: we're going from one terrible match to a far worse match.
Don't worry.
I'm not taking your thunder. I'm building up to it. I'm your hype man. I'm Flava Flav in this conversation.
They go backstage again. Goldilocks with Kinch. She's getting the most screen time out of anybody on the show, by the way. Like,
she's no Pamela Paul.
She's getting all the air. She can do basically whatever she wants. She's getting airtime no matter what. She's with Ken Shamrock and the quote-unquote medics. They don't know what's wrong with him. They just know that his neck is hurt. That's it. And then we go to a video package of the Miss TNA Battle Royal and the feud set up between Francine from ECW and Taylor Vaughn, also known as Barbara Bush. Yeah, BB from WWE.
She was a medic in WWE who showed up at Armageddon. They're like, hey, it's Barbara Bush. And I'm like, why is this a thing?
Yeah, it was. So, they make their entrances. Taylor Vaughn's not wearing anything close to, ring gear. Mm-mm. And Francine is Francine. Francine, in reference to the week prior, takes a leather belt that she had stolen from Ed Ferrara and just proceeds to attack Taylor Vaughn from behind. Then Vaughn takes the belt back, or takes the belt from her and then beats her and chokes her out. And then the ref tries to take the belt from her, but then Taylor Vaughn hits the ref with the belt and then DQs her, even though the bell had never rang in the first place.
So I keep forgetting to bring this up. I have a... Yep.
Okay.
Goldilocks actually, up until about 2015, was doing 4 or 5 knockout themes for TNA. Singing.
Oh.
Including Dixie Carter's.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh.
I just think that's a cool little fact.
Yeah. That's...
Okay, so we get the belt beatings and
yeah. So I think that's technically the fastest match in all of wrestling history, with the time standing at 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Because the bell never rang, but she somehow got disqualified. So we had a winner, but
I don't know how.
I don't know. Yeah. Ed Ferrara comes back into the ring because he's got this whole angle with Francine going. The week prior, he was helping her after she got eliminated from the Battle Royal, and he just groped the shit out of her, just grossly grabbing at her breasts, and that's when she took his belt and then beat the hell out of him with it. And then he comes to the ring to raise her hand, and then he's not doing anything weird or perverted this time. He's literally just raising her hand and trying to show her off to the crowd, and she puts his hand on her chest, and then he's like, yeah, and she's like, yeah, no, and then beats the shit out of him again, which doesn't make any sense. But
I think the gimmick was supposed to be to make Ferrara into some BDSM shit, and Francine and him kind of as an item. But thank God, Ferrara left 2 weeks later.
He the worst. After that,
no, Mark Madden's the worst, but Ferrara's in the same development. They lived a couple houses down.
Did you say Mark Marrow or Mark Maron?
Mark Madden is the
Madden. Worst. Okay, I was like,
Mark Marrow was actually somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, Mark Marrow also did an awesome like TED Talk type thing that I
listened
to.
I saw that.
Yeah, Jeremy Borash comes out with Hermie Sadler for like the third week in a row. God, it's just like, I mean, granted, as long as like Hermie Sadler's like cool and likes wrestling and wants to be a part of it, fine. But it seems like he's so disinterested in like everything.
No, actually, he's just not very charismatic. He actually owned his wrestling promotion during this time period, and it served as TNA's house show.
Oh,
it was, I think, the UWF or something like that. They had some big matches.
But his NWA-TNA work is not good so far.
Oh, he's super fucking flat. Like he got no personality. He's white bread generic.
Yeah. And then you got good old. Well, he wasn't there this week, but you had good old Sterling Marlin the week before.
Yeah, God, he was like 42 when this fucking aired.
So Sadler and his pit crew come out. K-Crush interrupts, which again, Ron the Truth Killings. Said something about having his ass whooped as a kid because he doesn't listen. Sadler then attacks Killings and then accepts a challenge next week for a match. K-Crush says he doesn't have time for this right now because he has a match later, which doesn't make any sense because he's the one who came out and interrupted it. But you know, it's setting up the match that's supposed to kind of be like the celebrity feud for whatever, because having Toby Keith isn't enough.
Well, to be fair, this was in Nashville, Tennessee, and the shows prior to this was in Huntsville. Big NASCAR populace at the time. It was the largest sport in the country in 2002.
Yeah,
and especially in that region, so it made sense to incorporate them. But couldn't you have found like Jeff Gordon or someone who had charisma?
Yeah,
like, for fuck's sake, get the most boring NASCAR driver. Oh, that's a good idea. You did good job.
He wasn't even like a hugely popular NASCAR driver at the time.
He was fine, but he was never a great driver.
Yeah,
it wasn't like when they got Urlacher to show up and he was the best defensive player in the world.
Yeah. So,
or even Chris Rock.
Yeah. So next up is the NWA-TNA Championship match. You got Malice, accompanied by James Mitchell, versus Ken Shamrock, the champion. Malice attacks Shamrock before he makes it to the ring. That's just kind of how early NWA-TNA worked. A lot of people did that to a lot of people. Malice kind of forgets halfway through the match to work the neck. And like Shamrock is like not selling the neck at all.
No.
He's just like doing he's like trying to like work like what you'd think of like a typical WWE match of like, I'm the baby face, I take the heat, I make my comeback, I get a little bit of offense in before I make the comeback, then I win. And it's like no falsies or anything like that. And it just doesn't make any sense because like the ending was like super abrupt. Like it just like he goes for a suplex, like he gets a snap suplex, and then Malice is like pops up to his feet, and then Shamrock just like kicks him belly to belly. I win. 5 minutes. Like almost 6 minutes was how long the match lasted. The NWA TNA Championship match.
Well, to be fair, and here's what I don't mind these types of title matches because it puts a specific set of dominance when you see 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. The problem was how this match was executed. They gave Shamrock like 6 or 7 moves, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
If that. Yeah. And I don't mean like he only did 6 or 7 moves. I mean he only did 6 or 7 moves entirely. Like I mean like a clothesline, a punch, a kick. He only had like 6 of those.
Yeah.
With like a belly to belly, like an arm bar, like a shit.
He had like an arm bar and a leg lock.
The ankle lock.
Yeah. It's just.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that they were short. I mind how this one.
Yeah, the ending was weird too because Malice like straight up no-sold the snap suplex and popped right up to his feet, and then it was just like belly to belly over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd injured his neck like literally like less than an hour ago.
Mm-hmm. And this was a man who sold injury. Like Shamrock had a propensity for selling injuries.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he didn't. The only thing I can say is he was in negotiations with the OC at the time to return. So I think he maybe have been checked out mentally because he would only last like 8 weeks, if that. Company maybe 7.
I understand the want for like a big name as your first champion, but I don't think Ken Shamrock was the best choice.
I do and I don't. I think hypothetically it should have been, but I think Shamrock had too much going on outside of wrestling at the time for him to be the best choice.
Yeah. Because
had he been committed to TNA for had he given them at least a year, I think he would have been a perfect choice because he was always seen as the guy who should be champion of WWE and was going to be until Shawn Michaels curtailed all.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, Shawn Michaels and the Clique curtailed a lot of shit that they shouldn't
have. So I don't have an issue with him finally getting the gold. The issue was in how it was eventually handled. And there's a lot of that in the first 5 years of TNA where I can say, like the most notably is the Raven Destiny angle. It was 2.5 years, well built up, amazing. How does Raven finally get the belt? Not even with Jeff Jarrett. It was fucking stupid. Whoever booked that should be fucking punched in the face and then a hammer should fall in the
Remember when they just decided to have Raven just completely get shit on and scalped?
Yes, but that was awesome.
It was an awesome moment, but looking back at it, he shouldn't have lost that match.
Well, he wanted to shave his head.
That's fine.
And they're like, well, let's work it into an angle. So, I mean, that's why it happened.
I get it, but at the same time, it's just for the sense of how hot Raven was at the time.
Well, think about it like this. You're right. He was extremely hot, especially coming off his WWE run. And you have Shane Douglas taunting him, James Mitchell bleeding him, and Vampiro debuting. It really made Raven sympathetic.
Oh, yeah, no, I know, but it just...
And then the Mike Tenay storm off. I've lost my objectivity, and I don't give a damn! And he leaves.
No, it was handled really well. It's just when you look at it, it's like...
What's the term? There was no comeuppance.
Yeah.
Raven got scalped, and he didn't do anything in return.
Yeah.
I know he bloodied James Mitchell up, but the idea should have been for him to go through Shane Douglas to get the title. And he didn't.
Yeah, it was...
So, the payoff didn't exist, but the moment in time was beautiful. And gory.
So, yeah, there was the match. Malice was, around for a while, I guess. Kind of. He didn't ever do anything of note in NWA-TNA, did he?
No, I think he died not that long.
Yeah.
He was the Wall in NWA, who don't know.
Yep. He was the Wall. And then after that you had probably, I'd say the best match on the card, which was
easily.
Which was the man with the second greatest spine buster of all time.
And the second best losing streak ever.
Yeah. Versus AJ Styles, who is the NWA-TNA X Division champion. Going up against David Young with his manager, Bobcat.
So, you want to know who Bobcat is?
Yeah, hit me, because I don't really know.
Remember when Victoria debuted with Godfather?
Yep.
You know how she was with a different hoe?
Yep.
Bobcat was the other hoe.
Bobcat was in this match too much.
You should know.
Just talking on the phone about how happy she is to be on TV. Yeah. I mean, it was a good match. David Young, AJ Styles. David Young threw a hell of a spine buster. Didn't have anything else going for him, but threw a hell of a spine buster. I mean,
David Young was one of those guys that I would say if you ever needed to have a decent opener with nobody, David Young, throw him in there because it'll be at least well done.
Yeah.
It won't be flashy. It won't be something that you'll tell your kids about. I was at Madison Square Garden watching Bob Backlund and Bruno go at it. Bah. No, but it's the match that would open that.
Yeah.
And so David Young was fine, but he got way too much so early in this company.
I'm trying to remember how he set up the spine buster in this match, because he did it in a real crazy like.
If I remember, didn't like Styles set him up for like a running something or other? And I think he ducked or jumped out of Styles' way.
It was some kind of.
It was a reversal.
It was a reversal. That's what he did. But like,
that was because Arn did it as an offensive maneuver. Young did it as a defensive maneuver.
Well, his whole thing was like, you know how like Roddy, when he was like in TNA, like real early, he was the messiah of the backbreaker.
Yeah.
And he could hit you with a backbreaker from any position. That's what they were leading up to this match. That's like when he was coming out, they were like, he can hit the spine buster from anywhere, and that was his finish. That was his signature. It was like he beats people with the spine buster.
Oh, I think it was a full Nelson into a spine buster.
I think you're right.
If I remember correctly, I think the snap spine buster reversal was something else. But yeah, he was definitely doing the master of the spine buster, because you bring that up helped me remember that. Because you're right, like they were
give
really,
somebody that gimmick. The spine buster is one of my favorite moves of all time.
They were really diving into that one, and the spine buster is amazing. Give it to Roddy; he needs a gimmick.
Let him keep his old backbreaker gimmick.
Well, like just anything. Like Roddy needs something. So bland. Can't.
Yeah, it's bad. Roddy's whole gimmick is that he's married to a UFC star.
Roddy's whole gimmick is that he's a man without gimmicks.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. AJ beat him with a second rope clash, but it wasn't really the clash because he couldn't get because David Young was such a big dude, not like big. He's just a thick dude. He couldn't get his legs around him. So, yeah, that was the match. It was probably the best match on the card, honestly, because it was AJ. Yeah, it wasn't a great match. Like it was because I mean, what 2 weeks prior they did low key Jerry Lynn AJ Styles. Was that the first ever TNA Weekly?
Low key Jerry Lynn AJ Styles in the ladder match.
Yeah, when did they crown the ex-champion?
No, the ladder match was like week 12 or something. First champion was week 2.
Oh, Psychosis.
And it was Psychosis, Low Key, Styles,
my bad.
And Hoovy?
I think so.
And it was a fatal 4-way elimination. Double elimination.
Double, you had to get beat twice. That's right, yeah.
Yes. And Styles, I think, was like the first or second person pinned. And he came back to win it.
Yeah, because Jerry Lynn won that ladder match, right?
I think so.
Pretty sure he did.
All I remember Styles' early music was Born in the U.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I'm remembering now.
Dale Oliver.
Did AJ or Low Key take the ladder cradle pile driver? I think it was Low Key.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I don't remember that match.
It was.
By the way, so you mentioned how you were watching the Global Wrestling Network.
Yeah.
Pluto TV, streaming Impact 24/7.
Oh.
Free. It's completely free. I've been watching it. They've been doing a Bound for Glory marathon. Like every couple hours, they'll air a new one. So, for those of you interested in that, it's a nice addition to the TNA-ness. It's also good because they don't have the Global Wrestling Network app available for your PlayStation yet.
Yeah.
But Pluto TV is. So if I don't want to have something cluttering my computer as I'm working, I can turn Pluto TV on my PS4.
Right.
So I'm a shill for it. It's also got some other shit on there worth checking out too. So, alrighty. So what happens next?
Mike Tenay announces next week's matches, and then one of them, the standout one, really is the 6-man X Division elimination match that will determine the ranking for the X Division and kind of determine the next number one contender for Styles. And it's Low Key, Jerry Lynn, Elix Skipper, Kid Romeo, Christopher Daniels, and Tony Mama Luke.
So much ex-WCW talent there.
Mm-hmm. You have Lynn, Kid Romeo?
Mama Luke. Kid Romeo. He was the Cruiserweight Tag Team Champion with Elite Skipper.
Yeah, with Elix. They're all, besides Low Key.
Yeah. Well, I think Low Key maybe had like a WCW Saturday Night.
Maybe.
I'm counting like genuine, like contracted wrestler.
Yeah.
Because Jerry Lynn was Mr. JL. I wonder who Mr. JL is.
God damn it.
What a dumb fucking idea. Just let him go and wrestle Dean Malenko for
When he
40
was
minutes.
under the mask as Mr. JL, did he do the cradle?
No, I don't think so. I think he did like a splash.
Oh.
Well, he actually just jobbed.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think I ever saw him win a match. I remember he faced Sabu in 90. That was fun.
Yeah, and then when he went to WWE, he had to do the Tornado DDT.
Why? Ugh, stupid. Gotta protect Jerry Lawler. No, we don't.
No, it wasn't. It was because of the whole Austin fucking Owen situation. They banned
they're still doing the pile driver in 2000.
Were they?
Yeah, they didn't ban it until 2002 or 2000.
Yeah, I'm talking about after.
Yeah, no, Jerry Lynn was only in there in 2000.
Oh. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, they did it because Owen still did the pile driver in 99. I remember that. Taker was doing the pile driver, Tombstone. Jerry Lawler was still doing the pile driver. Terry Funk did the pile driver in 98.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Who was doing it in 99, though, or 2001? They asked him to stop.
There was fucking no danger in the Tombstone, though.
No. And to be fair, if you do the pile driver right, you're landing on your ass.
Yeah, their
You're supposed
head...
to be landing on an angle.
Their head is supposed to land on your thighs.
Yeah, your crotch is supposed to cradle them.
Yeah. Also, I love that Trent Beretta has started, like, instead of doing his, like, back-to-belly deal, like, that he does, you know, the over-the-shoulder deal, pile driver, like, reverse pile driver he does, he's starting to do the cradle pile driver, and he's having it called the Jerry Lynn pile driver, whereas Suzuki's still doing the Gotch-style pile driver, and they're calling it the Gotch-style pile driver, and every time in Ring of Honor that Ian Riccaboni calls it the fucking Gotch-style pile driver, Colt or BJ Whitmer will turn to him and goes, the Jerry Lynn pile driver. Because Trent and Chuck Taylor unironically love Jerry Lynn, like, and think he's the best wrestler.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. Fucking cradle pile driver is nobody's getting hurt, but it looks like they're getting fucked up.
And BJ Whitmer needs to shut the fuck up.
He's actually not terrible on the announcing.
No, but he defended Tony Kazan.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
So he needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
In fact, Adam Pearce, I don't want to get too personal, but I know for a fact that Adam Pearce won BJ after he defended Kazana. Like he went after him on Twitter, but like privately, I know that he was like next Ring of Honor show. I'm smacking the taste out of his face. I love that. I love Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is like the big brother of wrestling. Adam Pearce, I love you. Fuck BJ Whitmer.
Yeah.
Although I know you hate him. I know you hate what's his the manager, Truth Martini. I know you hate him.
Yeah, I don't hate him. I just don't. I don't see. Him. Yeah, I can't get. He doesn't like. I can't find why everybody is so crazy about him. He's just like. If, like, I know his career got shortened and he retired and had to stop doing in-ring stuff, but, like, it felt like no matter how much he was still, like, he was putting over whoever was in the House of Truth with him, he still felt like he was hogging the spotlight, which a manager shouldn't do.
No, but they should be part of the spotlight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Heenan was always part of the spotlight, but he always made, Andre look. Andre didn't need the help, but he made Andre look like $1 million.
When he was doing the Night of Hoopla special in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
He was talking to not Mandy Leon, Scarlett Bordeaux, and he's like, "You know who we need to get?" I can't do a truth. You know who we need to get?
Raspy.
It's really raspy.
Yeah.
You know who we need to get? BJ. And Scarlett's like, "Now? Okay." And he's like, "No. Whitmore." And the way he said Whitmore just makes me giggle. That's the only thing BJ Whitmore has ever given to my life that I've ever enjoyed. That wannabe Undertaker looking look.
The only reason that Mandy Leon's doing so hot in Ring of Honor.
It's because she's boning the booker.
Yep.
I mean, listen, I'm not about shaming women for who they sleep with, but Mandy Leon is not talented in the ring.
No, she's not.
At least not comparatively.
No.
And when they make their Women of Honor Division Championship, which is going to happen in the next 12 months, I'm told, she's probably going to be the first one to win it.
Guaranteed.
Which is a travesty.
I think, like, who's all in the Women of Honor? Like, I know Kelly Klein's a big one.
Brandy Rhodes.
Brandy.
I know she recently left, but I think she could come back. Taylor Hendricks. She just left, but there's always an open door.
Yeah.
And I think their next top prospect. I think I've heard rumors that they're going to do women. But I don't know if that's
aren't they bringing in like Stardom talent a lot too?
They're bringing in Stardom, and I think they still have a working relationship with which one of the three women's promotions, WSU, Shine, and Shimmer, is not owned by WWN. Was it Shimmer?
It's either Shine or Shimmer. I don't know which one.
They used to have a deal with Shimmer because I remember a lot of Sarah Del Rey and Daisy Hayes matches back in the day. I mean, you and I give a lot of credit to TNA for starting the first women's division of Respect.
Yeah.
But the first real deep dive women just happened in like 04, 05 was with Del Rey and Daisy Hayes. Those two beat the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
I love Del Rey. She's right below Gail Kim. Fuck Moolah, fuck Mae Young, fuck Trish, fuck Lita. It's Gail Kim, Del Rey, and everyone else.
Yeah. Shimmer is the one that's not owned by
Okay,
WWE.
I think they still have a working arrangement with Shimmer.
They do.
So
it says Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor recognizes the Shimmer Championship and the Shimmer Tag Team Championship, both of which have been defended at ROH events.
Expect some of them to be involved in it. They decide to do the tournament. So here's hoping. So anyway,
I mean, what's their current roster like? Candice.
Shimmer? Well, here's the thing: Shimmer, indie wrestling, pretty much just like any other indie wrestling with women's in respect, because everyone on Shimmer works Shine, they work WSU, so it really doesn't matter. It's basically all the big names in women's is working Shimmer. Yeah. I think Mercedes Martinez is the champion. She's either the champion there or in Shine.
Shazza McKenzie.
Shazza McKenzie's okay.
The Heart of Shimmer champion. Tessa Blanchard and Vanessa Craven are the tag team champions.
I like Vanessa Craven. She was in my.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. Mercedes Martinez is the Shimmer champion. Shazza McKenzie is the Heart of Shimmer champion. Whatever the fuck that means.
I think that's their mid card title. Vanessa Craven's in maybe my Generico. It was like some Canadian promoter, and they're playing with action figures. And this one douche nozzle comes in and starts like cutting a promo on him. But then Vanessa Craven was behind him, and Generico just kind of like started biting his lip and like moving all sexually in front of Vanessa because he liked her. He was trying to was that
IWS?
A mating ritual. Maybe no, I thought it was it may have been IWS.
That's a Canadian.
Is IWS Canadian? Then maybe it was.
Yeah, because that was no, that wasn't. Fuck, I don't remember who owned it. I almost said it was Jacques Rougeau, but it wasn't. It's Sexy Eddie. Is the guy?
Okay,
yeah, Sexy Eddie was the founder of that one. Because that is where Steen and Generico and Frankie the Mobster all got their start off, and Beef Wellington.
I think Beef Wellington was actually in the segment.
Could have been. You know who Beef Wellington is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite double teaming video maker. Mad Braddox.
You still there? You kind of cut out for a second.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello? Yeah, Beef Wellington. Yeah, I'm
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was Beef Wellington and El Generico.
Oh, well, there you go.
Action figures. Now, wasn't there a second Beef Wellington? Or an original Beef Wellington, I should say, because I know one of the Beef Wellingtons died, but he did not.
No, I don't see. Well, his original name was Brent. Well, or no, that's World Wrestling Entertainment. Why would it stop there? I guess he became Beef Wellington. Where didn't he become Beef Wellington? This doesn't make any sense. This Wikipedia is so. I don't know, but I remember there being another Beef Wellington. I think you're right.
He was like in the 70s and 80s. Remember? He was like way back in the. It was Generico and Beef Wellington were playing with action figures, and that's when Vanessa Craven walked in. It was IWS. Yeah, so you were right.
Were you thinking of Biff Wellington?
Maybe I was.
The Canadian wrestler?
Yeah, who passed away in like 07?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
Biff
right,
Wellington.
So, yeah. Got it. I'm on board now. We're good.
The Magic Man, Biff Wellington.
So, yeah, it was Generico and Beef Wellington. I forget who the dude was, but Vanessa Craven was like her heavy, was his heavy. And she just stared down Generico, and Generico's all doing like a sexy dance, and it's the funniest fucking shit ever. Sami Zayn is a trash fire, dumpster fire, garbage wrestler. Bring back El Generico. I will not settle for anything less.
So he was on Edge and Christian's podcast on Friday.
Was he?
You should listen to it, because they talk about a lot of stuff, including his recent heel turn, and like how, like he doesn't full on acknowledge it, but he like kind of like drops the shtick of like, oh, you know, me and that Generico guy, and like gives his like full on sentiments about how he felt like having to, you know, get rid of the mask and everything. So
was he unhappy?
So basically what he said was like he didn't want to stop because he felt like it was his baby. Like he had built up such a body of work being this character, and he made himself into a star under a mask, and he feels like a lot of people should work under a mask. He said everybody should work under a mask, and everybody should be in a tag team in their career at one point.
Unfortunately, TJ Perkins echoes these sentences because he said, and I don't know what Generico said, but TJ said something to the effect like, when you work under a mask, play a character. You don't need to worry about being yourself. You don't need to worry about making money for yourself. You're putting yourself over. You're playing a character. This character can get his ass kicked as many times as he be.
Yeah.
And while I think TJ Perkins should swallow Pop Rocks and Pepsi or Coke, not to kill him, to cause him indigestion, I think that's right. I think that's fair. Because they do that in TNA a lot, where they have guys work under masks who don't lose often without them, but lose all the time with them.
Yeah. But he said that he basically did a promo for when he first got to NXT, where he retired the mask and he did this big farewell for the character of Generico.
And it wasn't even the right mask either.
Yeah, and he said that on his way home from doing that, he was in tears and he was crying like a baby because he didn't want to have to give it up, but he felt excited about being able to try something new.
I get it.
I think they asked like if you had the chance, would you go back and do it again? And he said that it's definitely not, like, he said it's not a guarantee, but it's not out of the question either, because, you know, he has such an attachment to the character. So
I get it.
Where did we leave off? Oh yeah. So they hype up the 6-man X Division match. They go backstage, Goldilocks again, with the Rainbow Express and Joel Gertner. Bruce and Lenny kind of just run her down and say she looks like garbage. Joel Gertner hits on her, and, you know, makes her disgusted because he's Joel Gertner.
Wasn't he dating a porn star at the...
I don't remember, but he's, you know, Joel Gertner, big old
I know
slime
Blue
ball.
Meanie was hooking up with Jasmine St. Clair.
Blue Meanie?
I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Wow. Yeah, so they go back out to the ring, and Jeremy Borash introduces their opponents, the team of Jerry Lynn and AJ Styles, who just wrestled a match. Literally, like 5 minutes earlier, had finished his match. And comes out and is selling his back from taking the spine buster from David Young, which he should have, because he's a professional and sells stuff, Ken Shamrock. So this is the finals for the NWA-TNA Tag Team Championships. It's Rainbow Express versus AJ Styles and Jerry Lynn, and it's basically like a story of like a 1-on-2 handicap because AJ really can't do much. And then there's like a whole lot of like the homophobia stuff. Like Jerry Lynn doesn't want to like do a lot of stuff because
wasn't there a spot where they try to go with a classic wrestling setup where one drops your hands and knees and you're supposed to grab him by the waist, and Jerry Lynn refused?
Yeah. Yep. And then there was a spot where they do the what's the cover, where the one where you're like on your knees and they're underneath you and you have their legs and like their face is basically right in your crotch, and like I think it was Bruce who was like trying to like get, and so he broke up the pin because Bruce was like liking it. You know, it's not good. No. There's a lot of stuff. There's like just a lot of like basically the heels who for some reason the Rainbow Express, well, not for some reason, the Rainbow Express is the heels because they're gay, because we're progressive. They do a lot of it. AJ, gets beat up. Lynn gets beat up. But for some reason, this down and out team of Lynn and fucking beat up AJ Styles win because Jerry Lynn wins with the cradle pile driver.
No, spiral tap.
No, yes. Oh, the worst spiral tap of all time.
I think he bounced off the dude's midsection when he was still in mid-rotation. It was ugly.
He hit with his legs.
Yeah.
It was bad. Yeah, Lynn hit Lenny with the cradle pile driver and then took out Bruce with a Hurricanrana, and then he hit the spiral tap. And the two celebrated their win. Yeah, it's
Or Born in the U.
Oh yeah, because Jerry Lynn didn't get a song.
It was bad. I often wonder why they decided both titles on AJ Styles at the same time. I do not know.
I'm telling you, get rid of the Dumb Johnson's gimmick and put the belts on the Shane twins.
Would have made more sense. Yep. Then again, in 2002 in TNA, nothing made sense.
Also, that didn't make much sense to me in the first place. Like, earlier in the night, the team of Harris and Storm beat the Johnsons, but then they got ambushed. So why wouldn't you just take the team that got beat and give them the chance? And like they had just dumped Mortimer Plumtree, so they could have come out not as the Johnsons anymore.
It's one of those things where, honestly, I cannot defend, explain, or comprehend it, and trying to do so will give me a stroke.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I guess. I don't know. So then, there's the main event. If you want to call it that. It's the match going on last.
The main event. It didn't make any sense why it went last, because it didn't have the titles. It didn't have the caliber matches.
Nope.
And you could argue with Scott Hall and Jeff Jarrett that it had the star power. But K-Crush and Christopher at the time really reduced it. If it was Jarrett Hall, maybe you could.
Yeah.
But and I love Ron Killings, I do. But at the time, he was not who he would become.
No, he was still what, about a year off from?
No, not that long off, because he would end up beating Shamrock in a few weeks for the title
you're right.
when Shamrock left.
How long would it be until he cut his promo on Steamboat?
Maybe a few weeks.
Yeah. I mean that's his that's his promo. That's his shining moment, honestly.
He does turn the corner eventually. Still, it's Brian Christopher. Yeah. And you can't redeem that. He's a worse version of Buff Bagwell.
Yep. So basically, it's mainly just Hall just getting beat up. I don't think did Brian Christopher even get in the match?
I don't know. I don't even remember who the fucking heels in this match were. All four dudes were unlikable.
It was K-Crush and Jeff Jarrett were the heels, but
allegedly.
the only person who got like a good reaction from the crowd the entire match was Scott Hall.
Now, there's always been a rumor. I've never been able to nail it down because every time I ask them, they go, "You'd have to ask Bob Ryder about that." And I can't get Bob Ryder in the fucking line for shit. I always ask, was Scott Hall supposed to be the first champ? No one has an answer, but I've always suspected he was supposed to be. But he was so unreliable that they just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because he was still stupid over in 2002. He had no right to be. with the disaster that his career had become. But he was like 42 at the time, still super over.
Yeah. So,
and here's the thing: TNA brought him back three fucking more times. They brought him back for a tag team tournament when he paired with Sean Waltman, which actually wasn't a bad idea. Then they brought him again a year later in 2004 with Kevin Nash and Jeff Jarrett for the Kings of Wrestling.
Yep.
Then they brought him again in 2007 when Kevin Nash and him reunited, and they were supposed to have that 6-man tag at Genesis. Yep. Where it was going to be Hall and Nash and Joe versus Angle, Styles, and Tomko. And that was when Joe gave his worst shoot promo ever. You wanna talk shit, Chigo? You're a punk and you punked out. You're not supposed to use the same word twice in a sentence, Joe. Grammar. And that's literally the only reason I have a problem with that promo. And then they brought him back again in 20. That dude has more stints in TNA than he had in WCW or WWE combined.
You want to talk about the best TNA Scott Hall stint? You talk about the band.
Oh, good. You know what? I'll say this. For a dude who was rocking 50 with a bad hip, Scott Hall, and had a severe alcohol issue, Scott Hall was in remarkable shape.
Yeah.
For all things considered. He wasn't like Shawn Michaels at 50 or Ric Flair at 50, but like when you think of all the shit he was doing to himself and how bad his body was, dude could fit in the trunk still. That's impressive.
Yeah. All I'm thinking about when I think about Ric Flair at 50, it's just like I just get the mental image of mashed potatoes stuffed into pantyhose.
All right, so did you ever collect wrestling action figures as a kid?
Yeah, I still have wrestling action figures.
So there were a few generations. The current WWE generations are like these super posable, like 38 points of articulation bullshit. And then before that, they had like the no points of articulation. You could move the arms and legs up and down, but they looked good.
Yeah.
But then before that, you had like the fucking like leathery plastic bendable shit.
The LJN.
No, right after the LJN, right before the super hard. They were like,
yeah.
They had like little cords in them, and they molded the plastic around these cords. Ric Flair in 2005 was one of those live action corded plastic wrestling action figures. He could not move his elbows or knees. He always had the same physical stance with his arms, always slightly bent. It did not matter what he was doing. And he had the same fucking posture and gait every time. Doesn't matter what he was doing. If he was falling, same gait. If he was jumping, same gait. If he was doing the splits, same gait. It was fucking ridiculous.
Here's my thing about Flair, like in like the mid 2000s, is like which hip did he have to get replaced?
Flair? I don't think he ever had to get a hip replaced.
What? Well, he always took his fucking back body drops and his bump off the top rope to a certain side.
Yeah, he took it off his left.
Yeah. Why did he Why did he keep taking that bump?
Never had to not do it. To this day, he doesn't need any hip replacement that I know of.
Yeah, but he I remember hearing that he always bumped that way for a reason, because something.
Oh no, he bumped that way for a reason because of his plane crash way back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, that was way back in the day, though. That was 79.
But why did he keep bumping? Why did he keep taking that bump?
Well, he took that bump because, I don't know why he took it off the top rope, because he's insane. But the reason he fell the way he did was because it would help smooth out the part of his back that was jacked up. So he was never falling on the part that was hurting him. Because he always had to deal with lower back issues after the plane crash.
It's fucking...
He's insane. Like, the argument of whether or not he's insane is irrelevant.
Like that, he is. I always remember being mad at that. Like when I was watching it at the time, I was like, "Why does he back body drop like that?"
He's a weird dude.
I mean, then you have AJ Styles who takes a back body drop like he's gonna get sent to fucking outer space.
He takes a back body drop like he's actually going to die. Like, oh god, don't let me die!
Like he's fucking doing a swanton, like Jeff Hardy style. Like he's not gonna rotate until the last possible minute.
Like he's gonna fall off the edge of the earth.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Oh! Did it. Brought it back.
We still have to finish this fucking weekly pay-per-view.
Yes, we do.
So, match sucks. I almost called him Razor. Hall's
Would
taken.
you say it sucked, or would you just say it was a typical mid-2000s main event?
No, Brian Christopher was in it. It sucked.
Well, yeah, it was not entertaining. But when I say sucked, I mean like people were falling over each other. Ultimate Warrior, flash paper goes off in your own face and burns off your mustache. Like that sucked.
Yeah.
This just wasn't fun. This was uninteresting. But I wouldn't say it was fundamentally bad.
I think it shouldn't have been the main event.
No,
because Hall was the only one in the match who really seemed like he wanted to fucking work.
And at the time, he really couldn't.
And he couldn't work.
I said what we will about Christopher. He could bump and sell. Hall in 2002 could barely.
I don't think Brian Christopher tagged into the match at all.
I know he worked it because there was a lot of stuff between him and Hall.
It happened before. Well, so there was a bunch of stuff before the bell rang because it was fucking. They ran out and attacked and jumped them.
Typical TNA.
Yeah, jumped them. There's a lot of fucking fighting through the crowd and stuff like that. They get to the actual match. Christopher doesn't tag in at all until he fucking turns on Hall and rejects the tag in and then punches him. And then Razor rallies. Why do I keep fucking calling him Razor?
Because it's his name. You can call him Razor. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's because I'm staring at the screen and Razor's Edge is on the screen and he has. I mean, by this point, he hasn't gone by Razor in fucking how many years?
He's looking at 411, 411.
No, I was reading some kind of rant on it, but it had everything. So
I was looking at 411 Mania.
Yeah. No. This was 2002, so he hasn't gone by Razor since he left WWE, which was 6 years.
Almost to the date.
Was it really?
It was about 6 years and a month to the day he left WWE for WCW. Because he debuted, if I remember correctly, in May of '96.
Was it May of '96?
Like May 28th, I think. And then Nash debuted in June, the week of the 16th, 18th, 19th. So
yeah, I guess it was '96 because for some reason I always want to think it's '95 is when they formed. In '96 they blew up, but it was '96 they formed, and '97 was their hot year. '97 and '98, and then '99 came around and everything started going to shit.
I still attest that it was not the size of the group that killed it. It was the fact that even when they... Well, that was funny. No, it was the fact that even when they only had guys like X-Pac and Giant, they weren't being given anything to work with in terms of character.
Yeah.
They weren't interesting. And that was the thing. If you had all that group but given them unique, they would have been fine if you had 40 guys. Because the idea was to make it a new promotion. So you needed all these guys.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any unique personalities, and that's what's killed it. The gimmick was being in the NWO, not having a gimmick in the NWO.
Yeah, that's... I mean, you had the tag team of Vicious and Delicious.
Buff and Norton?
Buff and Norton.
I can't believe I remember that.
You know what Buff Bagwell's best tag team was?
Too Cold Scorpio?
No, fucking American Males. Scotty Riggs.
Oh, God, don't you...
American Males.
All right, no, one, you did it wrong, because American Males...
American Males.
Because they sound like fucking dead robots. Dead, soulless, we just got fired, our wives left us, took our robotic Tamagotchi children, robots who hate their jobs.
Did American... Who was their valet? Was that Stacy?
American... Oh, no, God, no.
They had a valet, right?
Missy Hyatt wasn't still there, was she?
I don't know.
No, Missy Hyatt was when the American Males were a thing. I want to say Missy Hyatt, if she was still there, was with a Nasty Boy. All right, let's Google it. Don't know. Jack got stumped.
I don't know either.
I can't believe I actually got stumped on something. Did
they not have a... I could have swore they had a valet.
That doesn't list one.
Shit, maybe I'm thinking of when he was still Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Well, with Too Cold, he had Theodore Long because Theodore was managing Too Cold at the time. Can we all just take a moment and just acknowledge that Hulk Hogan basically brought everyone he worked that Australian tour with Ric Flair into TNA.
Yeah.
Except for Buff Bagwell. He was the only guy who didn't get brought in of note in that entire tour. Oh, that's funny shit. Man, I wish they had released one of them. Because I would love to watch that shit. Because it was, oh my god, I heard nothing but bad fucking reports about that.
Oh yeah, I remember watching this weekly pay-per-view that there was a sign in the crowd that literally just said, Judy, the real, in quotes, the real Bagwell.
The real Bagwell.
Judy, the real Bagwell is what it said. And it was, yeah, it was fucking, I'm still mad that we never got our Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
No, but we got a Judy Bagwell on a forklift, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the talents that were used. You had the Pimp Father, Fatha.
Is that who I think it is?
Yes, that's the Godfather.
Yeah.
Nick Dinsmore, who actually would work with Rinky King. Brutus Beefcake, who Hogan did try to get signed, but TNA said no.
Yeah.
Heidenreich.
Fucking Heidenreich.
No, it's Heidenreich.
Oh, yeah.
Heidenreich. I will never forget that because he came out with the choo-choo motion.
And remember when he and Animal won the tag team championships?
Remember when he raped Michael Cole on live TV?
Why'd you have to remind me of that?
Because I will never let that not be a thing. Just like Seth Rollins fucking a Nazi. There's just some things in the world you have to make sure people remember. Alright, so continuing on. Barton 3000, you know who that is.
Barton 3000?
You know him. We talked about him earlier in the show at the start.
I'm drawing a fucking blank.
Matt Cross.
Oh, shit. What? Oh, you said Spartan.
Yeah, what do you think I said?
Barton.
Oh, Barton.
Barton 3000. I was like, what the fuck? Like you said, I thought you said Barton, and my brain went to Burton Guster. I was like, what the fuck was Dule Hill doing on a wrestling tour in Australia?
This is my underprivileged mentee. Holla back at you.
I think my favorite was Lavender Goons.
What was the one John Cena knew him as?
Oh, shit. I don't know.
Because he referenced an old one. And he goes, this is Sean Guster, and we'll just go with Lavender Goons. And Gus goes, does that whole, like that thing that he would do when he was pissed off?
Yeah.
And Cena goes, well, is that not your name? Like, so confused. The Nasty Boys.
Yeah.
Vampire Warrior, which is Gangrel,
Yep.
which doesn't make any sense because he owns the rights to Gangrel. So
wait,
Black Pearl.
He does?
Technically, Gangrel's owned by a by a game company, and because the WWE couldn't trademark it, he got to use it wherever he went afterwards. But for some reason, he was going as the.
Hold on, I just saw a tweet.
Wow.
From Matthew Botchamania.
Oh boy!
This was from 14 hours ago.
Oh boy!
Matt Riddle is off the New Japan Tag League tour because they found out he smokes weed, and he said they must be the only people who didn't know this.
That's fair. Matt Riddle's the new RVD.
But I mean, it makes fucking sense because look at what happened to fucking Seidel.
Yeah, he spent 3 months in a Japanese prison.
Yeah, so it
makes sense.
It makes sense. So
Mr. Anderson and Sean Morley. Oh, sorry, Black Pearl, which is the least known Anoa'i member.
Oh,
ever. He's Roman Reigns' second cousin? No, just cousin, just straight up cousin. Yeah.
Okay.
We also had Mr. Anderson and Sean Morley. We know that both of them came in. Brian Christopher and Rikishi, known as Kishi, against Orlando Jordan and Osu Fatu, which was Umaga. This is like literally weeks before he died.
Yeah.
Was that a heart attack? Brain hemorrhage.
So yeah, I think it's something with his heart.
No, it's brain hemorrhage. I just looked it up. Yeah, I just
Oh.
clicked on it. This is like literally like 3 or 4 weeks later. Or
Damn.
before. And then, of course, the main event was Hulk Hogan versus... but we also had, because we had more, We had Big Daddy Roro.
That sounds familiar.
It shouldn't because it's Rosie.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Going through here. Lacey Von Erich pops up finally.
Lacey Von Erich. God damn.
I'm not seeing Bagwell at all. Maybe he wasn't on the tour. I thought he was. I apologize. I appear to be incorrect. Wait, there was... Oh, never mind. It's a home video release. I was like, what? No. There wasn't. Makes me sad. Was there no Buff Bagwell? Am I missing him? Orlando, Beefcake, Jordan. I could have sworn he was on this tour. Maybe he was like an MC or something. Because there's a photo, I thought, of him on the tour. Googling. We're Googling. Finish the pay-per-view.
Christopher turns on him. Hall almost makes the comeback. Goes for the Razor's Edge on Jarrett? Oh, K Crush. Ref got bumped down like earlier. Brian Christopher broke up the Razor's Edge. Jarrett hit him with the stroke. Christopher hits the hip hop drop, and then Jarrett covers Hall for the win. Jarrett gets on the mic and tells him he isn't worth a shit.
It was so edgy.
Yeah. And then he goes on saying, like, I beat Hall in 95, and I beat Hall in 97, and I ran Hall out of WCW. And then he beats Hall with the trophy. They get the EMTs, and they're trying to bring out the stretchers, and then Jarrett's beating up everybody, and he challenged the Tennessee Titans to a fight. He brings up how the WWE kicked Hall out of the NWO. He dumps Hall off the stretcher, and then he states he will prove once and for all that he should have walked out on the first show as the world champion. And then he just keeps beating up Hall until this show ends.
Which it never does. Welcome to hell.
Yeah, because unfortunately the next few weeks are just going to be hell all over again. And then all over again. And then all over again.
And all over again.
Yeah.
Again.
It's,
Bueller.
Yeah, pretty much. It's fucking, like, nuts how, like, I remember, like, I'm, like, so fond of, like, the old Asylum TNA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but, like, I didn't really...
Does
like,
get better.
I know it does get better, because, like, when Abyss starts coming around, things are going to be real good, because Abyss is, like, early Abyss is my fucking favorite. Like,
you know who his manager was?
Goldilocks?
Oh. I just wanted to put that little nugget of possible disaster in your brain. Let it simmer for a while.
No, but the fucking blue cutoff shirt and the Dickies work pants Abyss with the full mask. Fucking is my favorite Abyss. I wish, awesome. I understand not wanting the full mask because it's got to be a pain in the ass to breathe in, but, like, Abyss just, like, doesn't look like Abyss to me anymore. Mainly because he's clean shaven all the time now.
Yeah, that is a little off-putting.
And he doesn't have his fucking front teeth in. Ever.
Yeah. And, like, that's the thing. Like, he could have gotten them replaced back in, what was it, 2009?
He has the fake ones that he puts in.
2010, that's when they had them.
He puts in the fake ones for when he does Joseph Park.
Does he? I never noticed his teeth.
Yeah, he puts in fake ones, so it's like, oh, Abyss has teeth missing, and fucking Joseph Park doesn't. That's how they're separate people. Did they drop that shtick yet?
Well, yes and no. We all know that they're one and the same, but they kind of keep it so it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing. He's facing off with Grado in a Monsters Bound for Glory. And when he announced it, he's like, "You're facing my brother, Abyss."
Is Abyss the TNA equivalent of Finn Balor's Demon?
I would say he's more the TNA equivalent of Mick Foley's personalities.
Yeah, good point. Hey,
all
remember
right,
Black Rain?
Do I? Black Rain, bitch! I told you about Black Rain.
Hey, remember Relic?
Okay, we are not going to shit on Johnny Stamboli because he was awesome.
No, I fucking loved Relic, dude.
And Relic wasn't even a bad gimmick.
No, it wasn't.
The fact that they didn't know how to use him.
No,
all right, so I looked it up. So it wasn't the Hulkamania tour that Buff Bagwell was on. It was the I just fucked. Remember when he wanted to when Hulk Hogan wanted to face Giant at WrestleMania 23?
Yeah,
not 23. No, I was right. 23 in Detroit.
Yeah,
and like he ended up leaking the Hall of Fame list, so Vince pulled him off the tour or whatever, just to piss him off. And they ended up having the match at like a Jerry Lawler event, Ultimate Clash of Legends in Memphis.
Yeah.
Well, that was Buff Bagwell worked that, and that's where they had the red and yellow ropes, which they would also use for the Hulkamania tour. So whenever I saw pictures of Buff, I thought it was on the Hulkamania tour. It was at the Clash of Legends show,
gotcha.
Which is just terrible. Moondog Cujo versus the Barbarian. Greg Valentine versus Mr. Hughes. I liked Mr. Hughes back in the day when he was wasn't he in WCW as Ice Train?
Was that Ice Train?
I thought so. Hang on, let me double check something. Maybe not. No, he was known as Mr. Hughes. Never mind. Jazz versus Christy Ricci. I have no idea who that is. Christy Ricci. I know Christina Ricci.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Ricci. Never heard of Christy Ricci. She's known as Gloria and Gloria. She's a well-traveled veteran. Abdullah the Butcher versus Al Green. So that was the thing. Bill Dundee and Dutch Mantel. Yes, Dutch Mantel wrestled in 2007.
This was 2007?
Yup. Versus Bobby Eaton and Sweet Brown Sugar. Oh, the 2000s. Yes.
Why? After what point did we still allow, when did we stop allowing Abdullah the Butcher to wrestle? Because didn't he give a bunch of people hepatitis?
Yeah, he's still wrestling, I think.
Why?
No, I'm sorry. He retired in 2010.
Okay.
Correction. And he gave Hannibal hepatitis in 2008, 2000. So Sweet Brown Sugar is actually Coco Beware.
Oh.
So I feel bad for Coco.
I was gonna ask what reaction you were expecting me to get from Coco Beware.
No, nothing really. Brutus Beefcake and Bubba the Love Sponge defeated the New Assassins, who were never given a name. Sal Corant. Brian Christopher defeated Buff Bagwell. Too Cool, Flex and Tim Grind. No, I'm sorry, Too Cool 2, Flex and Tim Grind.
How do they spell the second 2?
With a number.
Oh.
It's a numerical 2.
I thought
it would have been awesome if it was Too Cool 2.
Yeah.
Technically, that would have been phonetically correct, right? Too Cool as well.
Yeah.
They're too cool. Wow, yeah. That is accurate.
It would have been worked.
That's awesome.
It would have worked, is what I meant to say.
They were supposed to team up against Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, but Gibson couldn't wrestle due to an injury, so Kid Cash filled in, I believe.
The team of Ricky Morton and Kid Cash?
Yep.
Fuck, man. That ruins the entire dynamic.
Yep.
We all know how the Rock and Roll Express works.
Yep.
Morton goes in. Go ahead, finish.
No, go on.
Morton goes in, gets the fuck beat out of him, hot tag to Robert. Robert comes in, cleans house, double drop kick, finish.
I'm pretty sure. Thanks, Jim Cornette. I'm pretty sure that's. No, the way he did it, double drop kick, finish. It sounded just like the caters. It's just Jim Cornette. I'm pretty sure this is how that meant. And then in the main event, Hulk Hogan defeated the Giant.
Huh. Hey, which one of us is Punky and which one of us is Hoot?
Punky and Hoot?
Yeah, that was Ricky and Robert. Ricky Morton is Hoot and Robert Gibson's Punky.
Can I not be either?
Alright, one of us has to take the heat and one of us has to get the big comeback.
Okay, well, I'm the one who gets the heat on the microphone, but I'm also the one who comes in and cleans.
So you get the big comeback?
Yeah.
Alright, I mean, that makes sense. I do get all the sympathy.
Yep. You're very likable. I am not. I'm the one who everyone expects to come in swinging his dick around looking for a fight. You know that scene from The Replacements where everyone's drinking in the bar and then the actual players come in?
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, hey, Danny! Yeah! I'm the Danny. Because that's what I would do. I would walk in, see my buddy's about to get into a fight, and just be like, okay, so tonight's going to end in the drunk.
I'm trying to think of a tag team that is like similar to the Rock and Roll Express, but like I was going to say like the Rockers, but like I don't want to be Marty Jannetty, and you're definitely not Shawn Michaels.
No. If you and I were going to be attacked,
I guess if we had to equate it to your favorite, I would be Rick and you would be Scott.
I would definitely be Scott.
Yeah, because I'd be the dog-faced gremlin, and I'd get all the sympathy, and people would bark at me, and I would get the hell beat out of me.
And I'm the asshole hitting people on the freeway with my...
Yeah, and I would be like getting some good offense in, and I would wear mismatched boots, because why not?
That headgear.
Yeah.
The stripes in your goatee, or your shaved goatee at times. Because he both shaved stripes in his goatee and dyed them blonde.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who took the heat in the Road Warriors, but they never took heat.
The Steiners, the Road Warriors, and even Harlem, they didn't have a specific guy. They would always just do the heat.
I always felt like Rick took the heat a lot.
Rick did, but I also know for a fact he didn't, because in a lot of the early WCW stuff, it was Scott taking the heat because Scott was new.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where the dynamic changed throughout the years. I know in '97 when Scott was swole, it was Rick taking the heat.
All right, I'm Sting. You're Luger.
Fuck that. I will secede to being animal to your Hawk. And the reason I'm giving you Hawk is because I think you're a little bit more acrobatic than I am. And I'm very much more the one who's going to be having his feet on the goddamn ground.
Look, man, Sting would go in, eat shit from every other team.
Which makes no fucking sense, because Sting was always more over than Luger.
And Sting was a better worker than Luger.
Well, I thought that one was saying. So wait, hang on. I think I got it. I think I had one. I had one and it worked. Now I lost it.
Oh, dude, I'm Arn. You're Tully.
Yeah, that works. I also had another one. Fuck. I had it, and then you hit me with the Sting Luger one. You wrecked my concentration. Thanks, dickbag. Okay, so all right, let's just pretend that real life doesn't happen. Okay? Real life doesn't happen. Doesn't matter. You're Benoit. I'm Malenko.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to say I was Benoit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, real life doesn't happen.
I was absolutely my next one was going to be I'm Benoit, you're Malenko.
Like, that's very much who we are. If they ever do the tag team with Drew Gulak and Tim Thatcher, which I've been saying they should do, you're Gulak, I'm Thatcher.
Oh fuck! I wanted to be Thatcher.
Everyone wants to be Thatcher.
I know everybody wants to be Thatcher because he's fucking great.
All right, hang on. We can find one. You're Daniel Styles? No. Neither of us are that athletic.
Yeah, no. Have you seen Daniel's moonsault? It's the best moonsault ever.
He's 48 and he can still fucking nail that thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. Your Hanson number up?
I mean, I'm kind of okay with that because look at Hanson's beard, but
your beard's bigger than mine, and technically I'm the one from Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who's straight edge. Even though I don't call myself that ever. Because that's just doofus name.
I'm Bubba, you're Devon.
Fuck you. You're Colt, I'm Punk.
I'm okay being Colt.
That's actually the most honest personality comparison I can come up with.
Actually, yeah, and it makes sense. I take all the heat, you come in and pick up all the scraps.
You take all the heat, I'm the one who gets all the heat.
Yeah.
I'm the one constantly pissing people off.
I don't have a microphone in my hand, you dumb motherfucker.
It's even funnier because she's some trailer park hoe.
Yep.
And she's doing the what kind of neck jostle.
Oh, yeah, she's shaking her head all over the place.
She's D'Lo Browning the whole situation.
Oh my god. Oh, so fucking I don't know what company it is, but they finally made a fucking chest protector D'Lo Brown action figure.
Oh, that's awesome.
God, remember that year of like D'Lo Brown just wrestling with the chest protector and cheating to win every match?
98, 99.
Yeah, years.
And winning titles with it. The European title.
Was he?
What the?
Was D'Lo the first ever Eurocontinental champion? I feel like we've had this discussion before.
Yes. He superseded Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, because I know Michaels was the first heavy Euro champion. World Euro champion?
Because D'Lo won both of them like right after the nation split, right?
No. He won the European title and feuded with X-Pac for most of '98, but then he won the European title back after X-Pac beat Shane.
Right, because him and Henry were a team, right?
Right, and then Edge beat Jarrett for the IC belt because I think D'Lo couldn't make a house show because of like travel issues, and then Jarrett beat Edge for the belt back, and then the night after he beat Edge back, I think D'Lo won the Intercontinental title with Jarrett. I think they were supposed to do it at Fully Loaded, and then Jarrett beat him for both belts, and then the next night on Raw, because Mark Henry helped him, the next night on Raw, Henry was given the European title, and then D'Lo Brown beat Henry for the European title at Unforgiven 99.
So basically, what you're saying is, just to sum it all up, get fucked Chris Jericho. D'Lo's the real undisputed champion.
Technically speaking, because he was both the European and Intercontinental champion, and if you combine those together, that's a world champion.
That's all of the world.
That is literally all the world. 4-time European champion, 1-time. Let's find out when he won what.
I'm being a real proponent that NXT needs a mid-card level belt. I say we make it the Antarctica Championship. I
am all for that. The pay-per-view happened on July 25th. What was this, a fucking Saturday? Hang on. No, it's a Sunday. Raw was... Wait, hang on. Wait, okay. Oh, you're going to love this. So Raw was on a Tuesday.
What?
Oh, it aired on a tape delay.
Oh.
Hang on. Okay. So I think, okay. So this was when they were still doing the double doubles.
Uh-huh.
So this aired on a tape delay a week later, but he won it on a Tuesday in Columbus in a title for title match against Jeff Jarrett.
Well, look at that.
Told you you're gonna love that.
Does it make you as mad as it makes me when people confuse the Sky High and the Lowdown?
Sky High was the power bomb?
Spinebuster.
Well, it was kind of a power bomb because he sat out and he lifted him up and dropped him. But whether you want to regard it as that, but it was the move, not the top rope frog splash.
Yeah, the frog splash was the Lowdown, but people call it the Sky High all the time.
To be fair, they both could have been the Sky High. Because D'Lo lifts the opponent up in the sky, and then D'Lo leaps in the sky. So I get it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, come on, man. It's D'Lo Brown. You're looking at the real deal now.
To be fair, I think the move, the Sky High should have been called the Sky Down. And then the frog splash should have been the Sky High. To be fair.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I know. Or Sky Down? Sky low down? Low Sky? No, okay. No, it does. Because the move would be the low sky. And then the frog splash would be the Sky High. See?
Why didn't he call one of his moves the real deal?
I think he did eventually.
No, I mean, I'm looking at all of his moves right now. He called the sit-out spinebuster either the fade to black or the Sky High. The fade to black's kind of bad, though. That's kind of racist. And then the lowdown was his frog splash. And then he had a leg drop. His leg drop was great because he did his head. He had a leg lariat. He had his what I like to call as the draws ender. Yeah.
You stopped doing that move after that.
Yeah, the running powerbomb. Then he had a move called the Shining Impact, which is a running enziguri to the chest of a seated opponent. And then he had a move called the Sudden Impact, which was the Boss Man Slam.
I think those were both moves used in TN.
Maybe.
I think. He should have had a move called Unbalanced Spreadsheet.
Why?
Because he used to be an accountant before he became a pro wrestler. He's a certified CPA.
That's
I mean, technically, a certified CPA is a CCPA. He's a certified public accountant.
Yeah.
So have the Red Ledger.
The Red Ledger. God damn it.
That's perfect. He comes out. You're showing a deficit.
So basically, you're just putting IRS. The gimmick of IRS.
He's IRS's tag team partner.
Yeah, CPA.
Because IRS was about collecting taxes. D'Lo Brown's about balancing your checkbook. So you don't get audited.
Yeah, just...
Ooh, that's the name of their finisher as a tag team. The Audit.
Oh my god.
I want one.
I couldn't even...
Mike Rotunda and D'Lo Brown would do this.
What was IRS's finishing move? Tagging in the $1 Million Man?
When he was I want to say it was like a gut wrench powerbomb.
Was his finishing move getting pinned?
Well, see, I remember more of his varsity days like you do, and he wasn't a jobber back then.
Also, can we just take a minute to say that they totally called him a shyster, which is a derogatory term
for Jewish people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great, but there is
good old VK Wall Street.
Yup. Airplane spin was his finisher in the 80s, and then he did the penalty, which was the STF submission hold in 94, but I don't remember. Then he did a move called the write-off or the stock market crash, which was Simone drop.
Of course.
But those were all his WCW moves. In WWF, he did a lead clothesline called the...
Right, yeah.
Which I don't remember him ever hitting. Oh, and guess what his entrance theme in the WWF was? The good rendition of Born in the USA.
Oh. Yeah.
By Bruce first. And then he would eventually come out to Jimmy Hart's It's All About Them. And that was what his theme song was. That dun, 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 dun. They all sound.
Fucking VK Wall Street.
And he didn't get any chance to really do it.
Why did everybody in early WWF do a Samoan drop?
Easy and impactful.
I guess. I mean, fucking Tatanka.
What was his called?
End of the Trail.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go even more racist.
Yep.
Why don't you call it the smallpox blankets, Vince?
Didn't they call IRS VK Wall Street as a jab at Vince?
In WWE, yeah.
Yeah. Because VK is Vincent Kennedy, yeah.
Yep. And then they had VKM and TNA, Vincent Kennedy, man. But it was also the Voodoo Kin Mafia, because original.
Oh, Voodoo Kin Mafia.
I liked the reunion in 06 as the James King, but then they went and did the whole Voodoo Kin Mafia. But it didn't give us Roxy, so.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Alright.
Yeah, I think we've veered off enough that I think it's time we wrap this up.
Okay, fair enough.
So let's do the whole rundown. So you can find me on the internets. Twitter is at x2000gregs. That's small x and then 2000 GREGS. Find me on Tumblr, 2000gregs.tumblr.com, and you could find me on Instagram at aswish, AYYSWISH.
And you need to say it like Fonzie would. A.
Yep.
You can find me on Twitter at ChadNerd, CHADCORP. You can also find me on Instagram at the same handle, CHADNERDCORP. All of our personal accounts are on the RealNerdCorp.com website, RealNerdCorp.com, your one-stop shop for all things NerdCorp. RealNerdCorp.com. If you like what you see on the website, and I forgot to post the news today, so like I said, it's been a long. You can also find us on the Twitters at NerdCorp, NERDCORP. You can also find us on the Instagrams at Real NerdCorp, REALNERDCORP. The Instagram has become a real big hot thing for me for posting the first reveal of the WCW of the week, the Our Woman Crush Weekly, as well as our pay-per-view reveal, usually when I start watching it. So, and we also kind of announce it, but I always post some really weird shit, like the Tony Schiavone fucking molester smile from Halloween Havoc 93. Where he just closes the door all creepy like and smiles as he locks children into his house.
Yeah.
Weird.
Chad, what's
Weird
Tony
shit.
Schiavone's best call of all time?
It's Dean Malenko!
Got that one right. What's his second best call of all time?
That'll put the butts in seats.
Nope, his second best call of all time is, "It's the Yeti!"
It's the Yeti.
The Yeti!
He doesn't even call him the Yeti. It's the Yeti.
His third is, "That'll put butts in seats."
I approve that ranking system. One's really good, the other two.
That's not sequel play.
That's Dean Malenko!
Dean Malenko.
Maybe before I came on. And you can also find us on the Tumblrs at nerdcorp.tumblr.com, as well as on the Facebook, which there's a link to which on the website, so just go there, and on YouTube as well at youtube.com/nerdcorp, or on twitch.twitch.tv at realnerdcorp/realnerdcorp. Or you can find us on Mixlr at mixlr.com/nerdcorp. If you missed any of these links and you're like, dude, you're talking too fast. 1, I know. 2, keep up. 3, hashtag get good with a U, not a double O. 4, all the links are on realnerdcorp.com. There is literally no reason for you to not be able to follow us on any of these platforms because realnerdcorp.com will have you up to date.
Got it.
And that's all I got.
All right, well, we're going to get out of here. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We will see you next Friday, hopefully. All things.
We'll see you next week sometime.
We'll see you next week sometime. We'll definitely be here, though. So I have been Alex Swisher for my co-host, Chad Porto.
Deuces.
Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Have yourselves a good night and goodbye.
And happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween, too.